Chess.com strongly condemns Russia's invasion and war against Ukraine. Ukraine is a great nation, a great chess nation, and we are daily saddened by the senseless suffering inflicted upon Ukrainians by the Russian government and its military. After careful consideration, with input from across our community and our leadership team, we are electing to keep our servers and events open to Russian players. We believe that isolation of ordinary Russian citizens only makes it easier for autocracy and propaganda to rule in Russia. However, we cannot support symbols and speech representing Russia and its war in Ukraine. For this reason, on our server and in all of our events going forward, including the one you are about to watch, Chess.com will no longer be displaying the Russian flag for any players. Additionally, we are replacing the Russian flag across our entire website with a new neutral blue flag that links directly to our policy on the war. We are electing to use our platform to communicate truth and provide information on how to support Ukraine rather than isolate Russian citizens further. For more information on our position, our actions, and ways you can support Ukraine, type the command Ukraine in chat or visit the link directly shared by one of our moderators right now. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you around on chess.com.
We have Wesley playing Grishuk here on board 4, both of them with 2 out of 3. A pretty big game that has... Oh, he blundered the rook!
What? That must have been a mouse slip.
Jostam is one of the most underrated speedsters you'll meet, and he is incredibly fast. He's not going to lose this game, and he's actually playing for a win now. Wesley is just not experienced in these time scrambles, and he's got to be very careful not to lose this. Oh, and he lost it! What did I just say?
Gosh.
Oh my god, he has to trade rooks into a lost pawn endgame. Wesley should have taken the draw.
Now we got to make sure we keep the knight f5, knight g7, but then you've got the 50 move rule.
When is it? No, but I feel like you have like 20 moves left, so
Exactly.
He needs to be efficient, but he's got mate in 11.
Mate in 11, he say.
96.
Whoa.
Bravo.
Wow.
Vladimir, bravo. Well, there's a lot of pawns. It should actually be easy to play for black, right? Because what do you do when you have a lot of pawns?
He's gonna get mated.
You got to push him, baby.
4.
How come that pawn isn't on
G4.
8? Ooh.
Mate, rook d3.
Oh, he saw it.
He saw
the mate.
Unbelievable. How does he do it again and again and again? He won again. Bishop d7, bishop d7. The engine likes d takes e5 after bishop d, which I did personally is a surprise, but Hikaru plays it instantly.
Wow.
When Hikaru is looking in the air, you know something's coming, and he doesn't even need to push a5. Look at that. He doesn't even need to push this pawn. It's the threat of it that's keeping White's king at bay, and I think Levon is going to resign right here and right now.
Wow. Wow.
And he does. What a game. Are you excited to show that the older generation still has some miles left in the tank?
Well, you know, it's funny. Actually, wait. As I think about the candidates, am I the oldest player in the field? I didn't think about it until now.
Now dawns on Hikaru. It's like,
I actually am, right? I never thought about that until now. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
We're live with the Rapid Chess Championship. It's my first Rapid Chess Championship. Danya, it's a nice shirt you're wearing.
Thank you, Danny. It's a nice shirt you're wearing. Wait a minute.
Wait.
Dang. We totally didn't coordinate this.
Yeah, we did not coordinate this.
It was a coincidence. I just pulled this at random out of my closet, Danny. I swear.
Yeah, after seeing me wear it maybe or maybe not. But anyway, this is going to be a lot of fun today. If you've never had a Danya and Danny show, Danny and Danya, you're in for a treat. I think so. Anyway, we're going to have a blast. We're going to be commentating on the best chess that goes down every weekend. It's time for the Rapid Chess Championship. And Danya, as we look at the standings here, I've been following just as a fan, you and Hess mostly, but okay, we've had Anna and Yasser last weekend. So many people working with you as you've been holding this down. Give me your thoughts. We're almost at the halfway point here. What are your thoughts on the standings and just some of the things that pop out for you?
Well, first of all, it's crazy that we're almost at the halfway point. You know, these weekends are just flying by. And I think there's multiple storylines that you can track as you look at the leaderboard. Obviously, the first storyline, Fabiano Caruana, his incredible performances at the start of the RCC in particular. The last couple of weekends, though, he's been slacking just a little bit. He's been struggling on Saturdays, and that has allowed Hikaru and the rest of the peloton to really bring their performances up. But those players like Wesley and Jan, and that's the third narrative, they're going to have to keep doing well in order to stay relevant and stay in the top 10.
Yeah, it's amazing, obviously, when you see the consistency that Fabi had to start. Like you said, he slowed down, but now here comes Hikaru after the FIDE Grand Prix, which had a lot of his time. Hikaru tends to just always be punching his ticket to the knockout every Sunday. But yeah, I'd be interested to see who else can maintain pace. I've been impressed with Wesley So's performance because he's not someone who is known for I guess time scrambles. Of course, in the highlights video, we saw him lose that epic rook-ending time scramble to Jospin, but that happens to the best of us. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens here. Let's remind everybody what's at stake. All the basic things they should know, Danya. Big prizes every weekend going down, and it'll be the same. It'll be the same today, right? That's almost as much as we pay you to do the commentary here. Not
quite as much, but right about, you know, right about. So yeah, just in the ballpark. Yeah. And huge prizes and obviously Grand Prix points at stake as well. Yeah, the Grand Prix points obviously are what the players are competing for to punch their ticket to the $150,000 Rapid Chess Championship final that will take place in August. I don't know if the announcement is official yet, but there may be a small date shuffling. That's a little bit behind the scenes for people to know, just because we're always trying to balance the busy world that is the world of chess as over the board returns. And there's a lot going on in the chess world, Danya. There's a lot going on. A lot. I mean, it's firing on all cylinders over the board tournaments, online tournaments. It's really a renaissance, and I certainly can't complain, but it can definitely be hard to keep track of everything that's happening at any one time. We're gonna before we throw to the game starting and a very, very quick break, let's remind everybody that the Rapid Chess Championship is brought to you by Coinbase, the sponsor that has become a huge part of a lot of the things we do. We really appreciate the partners that we have over at Coinbase, and everyone should be reminded you can earn crypto by just learning about crypto, which is one of the coolest things that Coinbase does. If you want exclusive rewards and including $10 in Bitcoin, you can sign up, verify your account. I think there's a number of different URLs you can go to, but coinbase.com/chess is the one right in front of you. And it's easy to remember. Anything /chess, twitch.tv/chess. Yeah, the easiest possible thing to remember. Coinbase/chess. It just works, right? All right. Well, the players are in Zoom. I see Fabi's fro. Fabi's not looking so fresh anymore. Can we just look? Let's just throw that up real quick before we go to the break, because I'm going to tease the bleep out of him on WhatsApp at the break here. Look at Fabi letting the fro glow. Danny, I have a couple local barbers. I'm pretty good at finding, highly reviewed establishments, so I can offer my services if necessary. If anybody missed it, we finally premiered, we finally put on our YouTube the Fabi looking fresh video where Robert Hess got a haircut. I'll share it in chat at the break because it wasn't on our YouTube, even though we premiered it a few months ago. But it's up there for anyone who wants some kicks and giggles and a reminder of all the good times we had when Hess and Robert were here at the chess.com studios. So, all right. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, the games begin, and we have liftoff. Don't go anywhere. The Rapid Chess Championship shall return.
We have liftoff, Danya, taking a look at Sam Sevian's game versus Hikaru Nakamura first and foremost. But everyone can see the who's who list competing in this event as usual on the right side. Where should we take this adventure that we're in control of together?
Dang, I mean, everybody's playing Karu, Levon, Geary, Fabi, Jeffrey. I mean, this field is packed today, and we have Hikaru's game up right now. He's playing Sam Sevian. Very easy first round pairing, Danny, for Hikaru Nakamura.
That's in case you didn't know, Danya was being sarcastic on that. Sam is, I mean, okay. Hikaru makes a lot of things look easy. So jokes aside, he obviously is a strong player, but no, that's not an easy first round pairing. And this is a lot of theory that I recognize as theory, but I don't know anything about it. You know, like if you look at a book, like I don't speak French. If I look at French, I can see that it's French. I see there's patterns of words, but I don't understand it. This is like, I see this as a mainline Catalan that I've seen many times. I don't understand what's going on here.
And to add to that, Hikaru has just casually played rook d4 to d5 and know that it's not a mouse slip. He's trying to take out White's main bishop and rectify his pawn structure. That is, I've seen these types of exchange sacrifices before, and Sevian has gone into the tank.
Well, and he's playing so quickly. Jokes aside, I am not an expert on this, so I wasn't kidding on that, but I have seen this position many times. This is mainline theory. I believe, this is the type of line that usually has a lot of homework that has already been done for the players before they get these types of positions. The exchange sacrifice on d5 is key because after White captures, Black can take back with the c pawn, keeping the pawn on c4 protected and passed. The Black knight will come to e4, and this just gets the compensation here is very real. The eval bar don't lie. You know what they say? Those hips don't lie. Eval bar don't lie.
It totally doesn't lie. I mean, White can keep grabbing bishop takes a7. This is actually what is happening. Sevian deciding to take all of the material, but apparently this is really, really bad. Black can play rook a8, Danny, and after bishop d4, what is it that's so terrible about this position? Sam plays bishop c5, but this allows the pawn to get to e5, and the queen can come to h3. This is going off the rails a little bit.
It's kind of a sneaky idea in a lot of these Catalans where White's light square bishop has departed. This idea where a queen can quickly come to the king side, sometimes h5, sometimes h3, and then a knight comes in. So that's a nice sneaky idea. I don't know what the move would be on bishop d4, but I think even something like knight e4, if the bishop had gone to d4, prepares c5, I would imagine, or even knight d7, I would imagine Black is still doing pretty well here, and that's probably the idea. So
I mean, look at these pawns, c5, d4, c3, and they're totally unstoppable. White can't put anything in their way. The queen is also very awkward on a5. So Hikaru playing e5, and he is the only one who can get Sevian into a essentially losing position with Black in 18 moves.
Still seriously. Come on. How many times do you see a grandmaster in a losing position after 18 moves? Well, a lot of times that guy is on the other side of it. Hikaru streaming. I think he's back in Florida these days in his life. Already showing off his wide variety of facial expressions this early in the morning. The catalog. Bishop e7 is interesting because it prevents queen h3, Danya. Therefore, bishop takes f6 would not allow knight g4. But the bishop on e7 just feels so wrong that he's there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really like bishop e7. I think White's only chance here is to hit Black before he's had a chance to consolidate. But Hikaru getting his queen out to e6. And what is Hikaru's idea? I think he just wants to push the queen side pawns. He doesn't care about his king side structure.
And I love that capture on f6 with the pawn, because I think depending on the level of the the viewers watching, I think sometimes that's a hard move to make for people, Danya, because it doubles pawns. The optics so that you open your king in terms of principles you learn, but actually that frees up the back rank problems, reinforces Black's control over the center, and the queen is right where she needs to be, helping d4 come because she overprotects c4, and here comes c3. So I think that's a really good kind of just quick educational nugget that you have to evaluate the position specifically and not just dismiss moves like g takes f6 because it feels wrong to double your pawns.
That's exactly right. And you also have to ask yourself, does my opponent have the firepower to exploit the deficiency in my king side? And clearly the answer here is no. This is desperation time for Sam as the pawns are rumbling up the board. They're close to promotion. I mean, this is unreal how one-sided this game was.
You just said rumbling. Was that an Attack on Titan reference?
Attack on who?
Do
you know who you're commentating?
Attack on Titan?
Do you know who you're? I think you've forgotten who you're not commentating with Hess. I'm not sure you got the memo.
Not arguably the best anime. Oh my gosh. Okay, chat, it's time to torture Danya into watching AOT. We're gonna come back to that later. All right, C2 Rook C1. It's a little awkward to play C2 without the immediate follow-up, but then I guess how are you gonna get the pawn, right? Queen D6 prepares E4 and then D3.
And look at White's queen. It's trapped. Literally trapped. I mean, Sam could try A5 and Queen B6, but for example, A5, E4. Yeah. Does this help? No, I think Hikaru could even just take it and go D3.
Can I just say what a breath of fresh air this is for me to be commentating and you to be highlighting and controlling the board? I feel so free. I also feel a little naked, but that's because of what's going on below the table. But I feel so free here that you're in control. This feels so good.
I feel very powerful that I'm commentating with Danny Rensch and I have control over. I can do whatever I want.
You can do so many things. Oh man, seriously, this is a nasty game. I saw chat there. Poito for president. Yeah, I agree. This is filthy. This is filthy. It's nasty. It's dirty. It's all the adjectives. You know, one thing, Danya, Robert and I have kind of observed for years is that you know, online chess historically, you don't always think of, all right, these guys are using preparation or, you know, really showing things that they would play an OTB game. But as the stakes have gone up, right, as more money has been on the line, right, not just with the Rapid Chess Championship, but so many great events online, you know, that's really not the case anymore. And so I know that, I mean, we work with Mark Crowther at Twick, who does a great job the week in chess. If you don't get your Twick updates, then you're not a serious chess player. But right. I remember when it crossed the line where he really started caring about getting all of these games because you really started to see high-level theory being used. And I would bet that Black's approach in this Black side of the Catalan is very cutting edge in terms of how quickly he got just an absolute dominant win against Sam Sevian.
You're exactly right. When the stakes are raised, serious openings are played. And the other thing I think people forget, they think, oh, Hikaru has to hide all of his candidates' prep. Well, not really. If he's very confident in a line, he could play it here, and then he could play it again in the candidates. If he truly has analyzed the heck out of it, and he believes that Black equalizes in a certain position, he's going to play it here. He's going to play it again. He's going to believe in it. And I think that's really cool. It's cool when players believe in their openings and their repertoire. Wait a minute.
Wait, did he just miss Queen F7?
Whoa! Oh my God,
wait,
Danny.
What?
Wait. Rook F7, maybe? No, Queen F7. He definitely blundered this one. No question about it.
What is he doing?
So ED, and now look at how wide open the king is. White could try rook E1 and get the rook to E8. What did Hikaru just do?
It was just unnecessary. I was shocked that he allowed it. I thought it was a mouse. I mean, let's get Hikaru back here. We can see it. Yeah, he just put head in hand. You can see he
just blundered that.
That was not something he intended to do.
F6 and the game is over.
I mean, I thought you could. Okay, you couldn't play Queen E6. I'm sorry, because the D4 pawn would hang. But yeah, F6. F6 was the move. Okay, yeah.
Wow. And Sam is probably shocked right now, thinking, "What am I not seeing? Is that pawn actually defended? Is there a bishop on A2?"
Well, and it shows how tricky the position still is for White, because Queen takes F7, as scary as it first looks, there's not a clear follow-up right away. You still have to take D3, as you said, open the E file for the other rook to come to E1. It's still a very, very tenuous, this is a tender moment here for White.
Without question. And you also have to refrain from the temptation to take with the rook. You might think, well, let me get both pieces on the 7th. And this threatens checkmate. That could be enticing. And I'm not actually sure.
Okay, yeah, Queen C5 check, just trades queens.
But this may not look as convincing as it is because oh no, but the rook is hanging. Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah. So if you take D3, I take the rook first, yeah.
And if I go here, then I guess there is just rook B5, rook B1.
Okay.
No stopping that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow. What a wild way to start this thing off. Sam Sevian is on the clock. Considering, just a reminder, everybody, there's of course a ton of other big names still playing, but as you can see from the standings below Hikaru, there are no games in the books yet. So we're gonna keep it locked here. One, because it's dramatic. Two, because it's Hikaru. But I can't wait to see what Fabi, Anish, Levon, Wesley, Jeffrey Zhang, who, by the way, can we give a shout out to to Zhang in his commentary with the man down. I mean, that kid, that was entertaining, if I don't say so myself.
I mean, first of all, it was an honor to commentate with Jeffrey, but I think he did an amazing job. He's a natural. And I mean, I had an absolute blast commentating with Jeffrey and watching his commentary with Robert in the first half as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for those of you who are not watching the Junior Speed Chess Championship, that's the event we're referring to. It's officially a you problem from this point forward. Lots of guest commentators joining Danya and Hess. But Jeffrey Zhang, who's did he won the JSCC one? I know he made it. I feel like he made it to the finals like 2 years in a row. And I should remember, but I'm getting old. Anyway, but Jeffrey Zhang, obviously a super talented player himself, and now giving us some commentary for the Junior Speed Chess Championship.
We live. This is a golden time for chess. We just have 2700s, casually commentating.
It's popping on.
It's amazing. Now Sevian, in the meantime, he's down below 3 minutes. There's no increment in the Saturday Swiss. He has to put a move on here, and he might be struggling with the follow up. Danny, I think he sees Queen F7, but he doesn't see what to do after that. Yeah,
that's kind of what I was saying is despite the fact that, we have the luxury of the eval bar, it's slid up and we're like, what's going on here? Oh, and there that shows exactly how hard this position is.
No, but Hikaru
should have played Queen C5 check there, right?
And the rook was pinned? No, but then White would have taken E4 and Black would have only been left with one passed pawn.
But we'll come back to that when
we'll come back
and we're not gonna leave you baby birds starving. We'll feed you baby birds. We'll show you what happened there. But either way, Sevian gets credit. He took his time, Danya, like you said, but he figured it out.
It's a little bit weird that I think the reason he took on D3 first, he wanted to keep the diagonal protected. He was worried about a check on D4, right. But apparently that also allowed some sort of intermezzo. I'm scratching my proverbial beard, thinking what it might be.
I'm the one with the beard. You could scratch my beard if you want.
I was going to say something like that. I couldn't have said it better.
You could if you want. I've been working on it. I'm working on the old,
It's very smooth.
All righty. Rook E1. Okay, Sevian is, okay, let's show everybody what's going on here. Why is this back to equal? Rook E8 check is a threat, which, we could quickly see White winning if Black isn't careful. Queen E8, King E7, we're going for a walk.
And it's a perpet, because if you go to H6, then you lose.
Because if you go to H6, Rook F6. Yeah.
You got to go back. Now, this is not made. The Queen is defending the square, but White can repeat moves with Queen E8. And a draw for Sevian here would be an incredible result. This is the threat.
What a save that would be. That's not what Hikaru wants.
God, what a crazy position. Now, you could defend that square, Danny, but then you have to reckon with
Rook E7
Rook coming to E7 and Queen Sax. I have no idea what's going on.
This is tough because if you're in Hikaru's shoes, and we can see him kind of shaking his head over there, we'll bring him back. It's one of the hardest things to do emotionally is when you were winning, you have to make the sober decision to just acknowledge what the position is and probably play D2 and allow the perpetual, because Bishop B5, Rook E7, and you could easily lose. But it's a very hard thing to do, right? When you were winning before. Hikaru is the best in the world at making tricky opportunities for his opponent to go wrong in these blitz and rapid events, but I don't know that he wants to risk this one.
At this and at the same time, Hikaru has had bad starts in the RC. He had half a point out of 3. I think 2 Saturdays ago he qualified easily, so he doesn't view this as a tragedy. And I think he's going to make the objective decision. I think he's going to go D2 and take the perpetual here. I just don't see an alternative.
Well, he's taken a moment to make sure he considers all of his options before he commits. Shout out to 1,000 of you over there on YouTube, just checking in on chat just to show you that I'm following. I always get Danny doesn't read chat. No, Danny just can't read good when he's doing commentary, but he does try to read chat.
Ooh, and he's gone Queen C5 check.
Whoa, hold on.
And Bishop C4. He's playing for the win.
He doesn't want the perpetual.
And that was the best move, actually.
Queen C5 and Bishop C4 was the best opportunity?
Yes, because it basically, there's this collinear pattern here where the queen and the bishop kind of protect all of the important checking squares. So Rook E8 check loses. If you go rook e8, right, it looks very tempting. But the king actually escapes the checks pretty easily, too. Queen
bishop
d7,
and
and I
queen
guess...
are perfect there.
Oh, I guess bishop g8. Wow, look at this pattern.
Okay, yeah. That's the key.
Queen
and
guards
note that the rook
e5.
is pinned on f2 as well, so there's no reinforcements coming.
Nothing. So this loses. Sevian down to a minute and a half thereabouts. He has to find the cold-blooded queen f7 to f4 in order to prevent d2. Again, because the rook is pinned.
We're going to try to get to some other games. I see chat saying that Komsky's losing to Grishuk with white. We'll do everything we can, but I don't know that we should. I don't know if we should bounce anywhere else until we see what happens in this huge moment for Sevian.
We got plenty of rounds. We'll look at everybody.
Remember, you can actually you can't. You can only watch the broadcast because of our awesome private server mode. That's right. You have to sit here and listen to me and Danya, whether you like it or not.
And tolerate us. Dude, isn't that amazing? We're forcing them to do it. This is the greatest
show that's ever happened. How have I not been here yet?
No, this is welcome to the club.
welcome to the big dance.
Okay, now that queen f6 is a mistake.
Yeah,
he's gonna
queen
lose.
f6, king g8, and you're running it. Note the queen on c5, Danya. It guards g5. The bishop on c5 guards f7. Just all of Black's pieces. It's like he planned it.
This is one of the hardest things in chess, having a wide open king. And, you know, a lot of people just rule this out of hand. There's just no way that I can survive. But Hikaru sees that he's got all of the squares defended. And if you drop your queen back to c3, Danny, there's the move rook f8. And I think Sevian might have forgotten that the rook is pinned. His position's falling apart. He's got 18 seconds with no increment. It's basically over.
It's going to be over here. King g2. Okay, oof. That's a simple way to do it. Nice and clean. Get the ladies out of here.
I mean, even without the 2 pawns, he'd win because of the clock.
Yeah.
It's over. Yeah.
What a hold there from Hikaru, despite the blunder of allowing f7. Hikaru figures out the proper way to coordinate. And we're gonna head on over to. I'm gonna let you choose. I mean, our next adventure. Here we've got Hess, our boy.
Hess is playing
chess without him.
Let's go. Let's go, Robert.
He's actually. Wait, what? Look at that move, rook f6. I love when you can laugh in the face of danger at a discovered check. Probably this one's just petering out to a draw.
This is going to be a draw. We also have a top game that's still going. Another opposite colored bishop endgame where Bortnik, mark my words, Danny, I don't think he's going to take a draw here. I think he's going to go for the flag. Actually, but he has no way to not trade rooks here, which is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, the flag would be reasonable given that there's no increment, but
he's
okay,
trying.
There you go.
He's not repeating
efforts.
He's not repeating.
For those who don't know, Bortnik is one of the true bullet specialists in the world. He's also a streamer. If you haven't followed his channel, you should consider doing so. But Daniil Dubov is one of the leaders in the overall Rapid Chess Championship standing. So every one of these games is meaningful to him. Oh, wow. Look at that.
That is 2,700 chess right there. That move right there is how 2,700s play chess.
Yeah. And the reason, everybody, is you just eliminated the chance to get flagged by getting all the pieces off the board. So, okay, here we go.
Okay, Wesley is should win this by flagging, although Pankratov, he's super fast.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is a draw objectively. I don't think Black can make objective progress. Now, Wesley has to be careful not to repeat. That's the one thing. I would move the king.
Yeah, as long as Wesley doesn't repeat, he should win on time.
But he's playing with fire here, and that was clinical right there.
Yeah, here comes the queen back, I think, to d2 or d1.
Yeah, now just give another barrage of checks and then get him to 2 seconds and then play b2. That's the classic method.
That's just, every time you put your king on the edge like that, that's scary. You're opening the door. Ooh. 1 second.
Ooh, he's got no checks. Oh, he does have a check.
Yeah, queen f4 check and queen a4 and shut the door.
King a2 is good as well. It's all over. And Wesley grinds out his first game, and that was the last game of the first round. You've got one round in the books.
Well, and we can see as far as victors go, the list isn't super shocking, right? You've got Hikaru, you've got Levon, you've got Fabiano Caruana. Draken is Fair Chess on YouTube. Grishuk took down Kamsky. We could
Yeah.
we could check out any of those games. Oh no, but the next round's already underway. Here we go. This is no rest for the weary.
Nope.
Fabiano Caruana,
Right back into the grind.
subject of focus here. We've got all the players on Zoom. We can throw that cam up. It's kind of fun to get a peek at the best players in the world in their natural environments, right? Observe.
Oh, I always love watching, like all these top GMs and at home, comfortable.
Fabi's not looking so fresh anymore. Again, I
no.
Whoa, that's just the fro, right? I mean, he's clearly in preparation for the candidates mode. He's not in presenting himself to the public mode,
which is totally respectable. And let's see how he plays. He won the first game, and his last couple of performances have left a lot to be desired. But welcome to the RCC.
Yep, it's not a very forgiving format. The fact that he started off so well at the beginning of the launching of the RCC was awesome. And I know in talking with him, he said, I mean, he really enjoyed it. Felt like it was bringing back some love he was lacking for online chess. So that was awesome to hear. He really enjoys the format. I think the rapid chess is just a higher quality chess that a guy like Fabi can get behind, and we'll see if he can rebound this week.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he's gotten so much faster, but this is a perfect time control for him. It's a little bit more than blitz.
Yep.
And it gives him just enough time to slow down in critical moments and calculate. So it brings out all of his strengths.
We've got an Italian, like you said, it's a flexible position for both sides. Fabi goes for the direct knight remaneuvering to the king side. The knight has gone on a bit of a journey from c6 to e7, now on g6, and here goes rook e8. This is all pretty standard stuff.
This has probably happened 800 times in random games between MVL and Peter Svidler. Like there's always and the Italian is one of the hardest openings to study and understand because of the amount of these different move orders, and sometimes the knight is on c6 and sometimes it's on g6, and everything kind of subtly changes the plans for both sides. But this looks pretty classic.
It's one of the reasons why top players keep coming back to it, right? Is because the subtleties are, on the one hand, they're not that significant. On the other hand, they're incredibly significant because it allows for the opportunity to outmaneuver, kind of even just out prepare your opponent in a position that deceptively every detail really matters.
That's exactly right. And the development of each piece matters. Fabi has brought his bishop out to d7. Now, is he gonna maneuver it to c6 in order to provoke d5? Perhaps. Normally, you don't want to go d5 with white. That's a tempting move for a lot of players. Oh, let me grab some space. But what that does is it closes down the center. It opens up the dark squared bishop.
Yep.
And Jasper actually takes on e5, which is also a little bit surprising to me. But I guess it makes sense.
You build on that tension before fully committing. What are the advantages to adding clarity to the structure? Is it knight to c4 coming for white, followed by something like bishop out, and then the knight goes to e3 into d5? Okay, yeah,
I agree. Knight c4, knight e3, knight d5 is a maneuver that happens in quite a few openings, actually, even on the black side of a King's Indian.
Yeah.
Knight c5, knight e6, knight f4 often happens. So I love finding similarities between openings that seem to have nothing in common.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Bishop a7 voluntarily means that knight c4 will no longer come with tempo. Also opens up the idea of playing b5. I like that's speaking of subtle maneuverings here, this is interesting stuff. I mean, it's way above
high level chess. Well, it's above mine too, because now white could play knight c4. He could squeeze it through, but perhaps black will respond with b5. And if you take the pawn, now there's another source of tension. There's the bishop takes f2 possibility.
Yep.
So for example, Danny,
knight winning material, right? Yeah, because you take e3 and then take f2 to check.
But if you take e3, then I actually take back.
Okay, so you take there first.
I think the reason the black is, bishop c6 here is really annoying. Don't forget about the e4 pawn being weak.
Right.
This might happen because Jose has played knight c4, and after b5, he hasn't taken. He went knight e3.
Okay, that was key.
Alert. But still bishop c6, Danny. I'm worried about the c4 pawn getting really tender there.
Yeah. No, bishop c6 makes a lot of sense. And okay, look at Fabi getting greedy.
Give me the pawn. Give me the pawn.
If bishop takes a6 for white, bishop takes e3 wins the minor. So you can't do that.
Exactly. No, black is all of a sudden quite comfortable with bishop c6 on tap.
Yeah.
That bishop on a7, kind of a sniper. Skewering everything from behind. Black is doing well.
Knight to f5. Okay. You're opening up bishop g5, I guess. And, you know, one of the advantages, I guess, for white, if you can quickly play knight f5, bishop g5, rook a to d1, and just say, forget the a pawns on the queen side. Maybe white launches an initiative. But the eval likes Fabi, and it's because a pawn is a pawn. Is a pawn, you know?
Yeah. And
It's a pawn.
as George Washington said when he was crossing the Potomac, do not go down a pawn against Fabiano Caruana.
That's one of the first things he said.
That's right.
I
Little known
remember, you
fact.
know why? Because I was there. That's why.
Is that so? Oh, I actually remember that you were there. I read your diary from that day.
That's right. That's right. What did I
Ooh.
say?
What did you say? Todayest I playest Fabiano Caruana in the mornings than I did
Oh man,
commentary for thy honor.
I like that you highlighted knight takes e4. That's a key tactic whenever you can undermine the protection of an outposted piece. And in fact, it's actually kind of irritating for white to deal with because, oh wow,
Ooh.
bishop c4. He's headed for some tactics on f7. Here comes knight g5.
Here comes chaos, Danny, because knight e4, I haven't quite picked up what he wants, but it looks like it has to do with bishop f7, maybe knight h6 check, ruining the pawn
just
structure.
busting open the king, and then all this stuff is just super delicate for black.
No, this is not practical for black. This looks very unappetizing, despite the 2 extra pawns. But I don't think Fabi's going for this. This is not his style. Bishop e6 might be more solid, but then you lose the a4 pawn.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is a tricky position for black because again, the eval bar, we always say it doesn't lie, but it also loves the pawn. And already, I feel like this is one of those where the position is so much closer to being critical and maybe a blunder being made than the eval bar would lend you to think. Don't be fooled by the 50-50 kind of nature of how the computer thinks about it. There's a lot of tactics here.
And I would add to that it's easy to look at a position like this and say, oh, it's kind of symmetrical, right? It looks like both sides have decent development. Okay. But if you delve deeper into how the pieces are actually placed, you find all of this, tactical potential behind the scenes. And it might go out from the scenes if white sacrifices something on h6. We'll see.
Yeah, I would love to see a sacrifice here. I mean, just do it. Just play bishop takes h6.
Just do it. There's nothing on the line. Just for God's sake, just sack something. All right.
It's not that big of a
Entertain the
deal.
commentators.
Just sack it. Let's just show it for the fans because I mean they want to see it. Bishop takes h6, g takes h6, knight takes h6.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's actually okay. Not quite as bad as I would have expected it, but unsound. The king is actually very safe here.
It's unsound, but not unfun. That's what I've been saying my whole life. Unsound, but not unfun.
That's right. And shame on Jose for playing bishop e3. How dare he develop a piece instead?
How dare he play the solid move? Although Fabi quickly gets rid of that piece.
Fabi playing, I mean, his time management has been excellent in the ERC. I just have to compliment Fabi's time management. Now he might be the one to put a knight on f4. How about them apples? My turn.
Yeah.
And
this is it's already look at that. I love that laugh, by the way. You do that when you're alone and you're sacking pieces. You ever do that? You ever just laugh to yourself?
I mean, when the sacrifice works.
Yeah.
When it doesn't work, there's banging of keyboards and slamming of mice going on.
We don't talk about Bruno on this show. Okay, knight f4, bishop back to f1, but that's good thing. I think even queen b7 here makes sense for black. You put pressure on e4, you start to unwind.
Great move. No, Fabi's in control of the situation now. He's not winning, but if you have to play bishop c4 to f1, then that's a sign that things aren't going your way. Shall we have a look at some of the other top games as Fabi contemplates this position?
Yeah, go ahead and choose a new adventure for us. Remember, everybody, even though, as we said, it is on a delay, the private server, really important for the security and the fair play measures that we take. But I believe you can observe at chess.com/events as long as you know that you are on a delay by design.
Right.
And Aronian.
Yeah, maybe we should choose a strong player game between strong players.
Yeah,
instead.
Maybe we should choose a game between two good players.
Right.
You know.
Okay, so Grishuk qualified for the first time last week, and he obviously struggles with time management. That's a big surprise there, but especially in the no increment portion.
Yep.
And
I was
what's
just about to
happening
ask
here?
that in the Favi game, because he's going up against Jospim, who's one of the faster, trickier players, in the interwebs, right, in the world. And then you think of a guy like Grishuk. How much? I mean, you've done more commentary on this event than anyone. Do you feel like play be adjusted by the players who are afraid of that time scramble without the increment at all?
I mean, to an extent. I think as Sasha, he makes an effort to play faster than usual. I mean, usually he has 1 minute after 2 moves.
Right.
I'm not even exaggerating. And it's also important to understand that players like Grishuk and Fabi, they're not slow in time scrambles. They know how to pre-move. So they're not that easy to bring down, even when they're down to a couple of seconds. But you can't compare them to people like Jospim. Like any time scramble with that guy, you're going to lose it.
Right.
And he's going to make it look bad.
No, but you're right. I mean, Grishuk is already down, a minute and a half here, but normally he would go all the way down to a minute because he'll be relying on whatever the increment is, 2 seconds, 5 seconds. Not something he's allowed to do in this time control. I mean, he's allowed to do it, but wouldn't be advised.
Yeah, very complicated position here. Hard to put a finger on the pulse of what's going on here. I even had a hard time counting the pawns, which are equal, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we've done everything to talk about the practical factors here, partly because maybe neither one of us wants to actually do the work of evaluating this position. What is going on here? Like,
I don't know if the players want to evaluate the position. I mean, rook c5, h4 play on both sides. Well, white's got the pass pawn. It's blockaded by the knight. I like white's position. I mean, I like the placement of the queen and the bishop. I like the fact that the knight on d6 is under a lot of pressure, although it's also pretty well defended.
Yeah.
Super complex position.
I also like that you're mixing it up there with different colored arrows, green.
I love
blue.
the different colored arrows, Annie.
You're like, it's like a kid with a coloring book,
I can't get. I love different colored arrows, and I did love coloring books for the record. So maybe it's a
books are
spillover.
way underrated as far as just a healthy mental exercise. My therapist has me do things that don't matter from time to time, just so I can remember that not everything in life has to be about achieving a goal. Sorry, really put myself on the couch here. So every once in a while, I grab my girls and say, "Hey, let's do some coloring." Right after this, we'll watch some Vin Diesel movies and lower our IQs a little bit.
I do know who Vin Diesel is, but I haven't seen any Vin Diesel movies.
You've never seen a Vin Diesel movie?
No. Is that like Furious 5? I feel like there's always a adjective and then a number, like Fast 6.
This is the greatest conversation that's ever happened on the internet. We are talking to someone who literally doesn't even know what the Fast and Furious, franchise is about. I love that.
And I love movies, and I've seen a crazy amount of movies. But the thing about me you have to understand is that there's just certain genres. If I don't like it, Danny, it's like mayonnaise. I hate mayonnaise and I won't have it on anything. I cut it out of my life,
Okay.
Like commentating with Danny Rensch.
You got to give Levon credit here, man, because I agree with you that I like white's position. I love what you highlighted with the queen and bishop battery. H4 was a hard move to deal with. But look at Lev, not only maintaining the balance, Danya, but also maintaining the edge on time. And I think that might end up being what wins him this game.
I agree. Although rook ad1, love that move by Sasha, leaving the rook on a5 in the dust. What I'm worried about is that Levon will go b5 and then b4, and the rook will eventually break out of jail via d5. I also don't see, Danny, how white is going to add pressure on the king side, which, yes, looks flimsy with that pawn on h5. Perhaps Grishuk wants to play bishop f3 and, slam a rook onto e6, something like that.
There's also
knight b5.
Wow, knight b5. I was going to say, if the position stayed stuck, you could go back to considering a move like g4 for white if you really get desperate with low time, but not a move you happily play.
How did Levon find that so quickly? Knight d6 to b5 is a weird looking move.
I was going to say, but is it good? I was looking at bishop takes c4 and he played it. Yeah, I mean, you win the pawn back. You're threatening d6 check.
Yeah, but bishop d6, for example, attack the queen and then capture the bishop.
Yeah.
This is impenetrable, this position.
God, looking at the standings and the games going, like, how do you ever choose a game to watch in this format?
You can't.
Like, you literally have all the best players in the world. Like, I want to go back to Caruana's game. I want to see what's going on with Hikaru versus Esipenko.
Let's flip Hikaru's game. I'm keeping an eye on Fabi's game as well. When that game sort of enters the time scramble, we can go back to the Fabi game. Both players with 2 minutes there as well.
Look at this move, F4.
F4.
From Esipenko.
Yeah, but it's desperation, I think, because Hikaru's got I mean, look at that pressure on the knight, every single piece. Okay. Now, this is not easy to deal with, Danny, because GF, there's queen G4 check, and EF might walk into E3.
No, it's one of those moves where, again, we have the luxury of the eval bar, and it looks intimidating everyone at 2.7, but Hikaru doesn't have that luxury. And, you know, if the best move is to take F4 and allow a shot like E3 to happen, Danya, that's not easy for a human to do.
No, and, well, the most straightforward path for white here is to play EF and then FE, but that greatly weakens the G4 pawn and allows queen H3. Imagine dealing with this with 2 minutes on the clock. And knight takes E3 is now possible. Ooh, get that out of here.
Yeah. When I make moves like that my opponent doesn't see them, I go, boo-boo, choo-choo, pew-pew.
That's exactly right. King H2, Hikaru staying away from that.
Yeah, but he gives Esipenko.
Uh-oh.
Wait, what?
Is there knight takes E3?
Dude.
Oh, he missed it. He had to
E3?
knight E3 was winning, and knight F4 was resigns because queen H3 is mate.
Oh my God.
Andre didn't even think about it.
And he instantly racks up the queen despite winning. Oh my God.
That's the Hikaru effect.
Yeah, you just don't expect him to blunder and you miss opportunities like that. But what a shot that would have been.
But you got to see, I mean, someone of Esipenko's caliber, he's got to find that in his sleep. Like, you got to sense that Hikaru's left his rook on D2 exposed. There's mating patterns. You know, you can't just trust him unconditionally. That's how he wins.
It's the time pressure factor. What he did there was, you know, that human moment where you played F4, okay, you feel like, all right, I equalize, and then you look at your clock and you just say to yourself right then, I can't lose the time scramble to Hikaru, and now you've mentally committed away from finding the best move ahead of clock management, right?
That's a great point. You tell yourself, I'm going to play fast no matter what, and that takes over. I think Bishop F7 might come very close to trapping the queen. Hikaru's just dropping it back. That wasn't ideal.
Yeah, Bishop F7 was the move.
Yes, it was.
Wow, what a wild position this is going to become. But
still anybody's game.
It's anybody's game. Esipenko has committed that he's not gonna get too far behind on the clock, but maybe miss some tactical opportunities along the way.
Fantastic move. Fantastic move. Threatening rook F5. That's so hard to deal with. But Bishop E6. Esipenko staying on top.
Is E4 hanging? It is. He takes it.
I figured black would take and go rook D2, but then simply rook F2. Okay, he goes rook D2 straight away. Still rook F2.
Still rook F2.
I think.
Where's the trade?
Wait a minute.
Is there a trade in?
Oh, takes and rook F7.
Wait, if you remove the rook, because you can take E2 a check.
And then recapture the rook. But will he find it?
Does he find
rook F7?
Oh,
he missed it.
Rook F7.
Rook F7 and black was much better. Perhaps even winning the bishop. Oh my goodness, he had his chances this game.
He's under a minute. Now down a pawn. Hikaru
now he's going to resign. It's over. Hikaru never lose. I mean, he's up a pawn in an endgame. Black can avoid the pawn endgame by going rook F7, but he's going to lose the rook endgame. Oh, goodbye.
Missed. You said avoid the pawn ending. He blunders right back into it. Rook G4. I think we're going to see a resignation. Let's go back to Fabi's game. Both sides under a minute. But Caruana just crushing.
Queen B1, and it's over. And Fabi with confidence
moves to 2-0, back to Grishuk and Levon. The other game we were following in this round. What
liquidation here, but Grishuk, look at his clock. He's down to 20 seconds.
Wait,
but why did Levon
work there? Because E7 check at the end of that line. Holy bejeezers.
And what's happening here? Line. Now Sasha's playing for a win.
With 19 seconds on the clock.
No, but he couldn't take A6 because the knight would have gotten trapped.
Yeah, the knight was trapped.
Bishop E5. Oh, he's going to win B2.
He's going to win B2.
And he's going to win. I think.
Yeah, he's also up double on the clock.
He just has to not blunder a bishop. Which is easier said than done, because why doesn't knight?
Yeah,
what is Levon?
Forks are real, right?
And B4, he's ready to push the other pawn.
Yeah, now he goes into the same color bishop ending, which is an easy win. You pick up,
he wins the bishop.
You pick up the piece and go on to win. What a game there. We've got a couple more still going.
Serrano going to defeat Bortnik here. Flag him with rook versus knight.
That was fun. And then we've got the face of Brazilian chess, Krikor versus Ariantari.
Krikor is going to win. He's always the last game remaining. Robert Hess pointed this out. Krikor is literally always the last game left. I don't know why, but it's always the case.
It's so funny. I wonder why, actually. No matter what, whether he's winning or losing, he's always the last game. You're right. It's funny.
Yes, it's nuts. And that is the end of a scintillating round 2.
As Norman said, that was an effing roller coaster. And by effing, he means for the kids watching.
It just means it was a good round, right?
Good round. Speaking of rounds, here we take a look at the standings. You see again a lot of the names who were there around before still, not just Hikaru and Fabi, but Andreken also got the dub. Fair Chess on YouTube. Jeffrey Zhang, new chess commentator extraordinaire for the Junior Speed Chess Championship.
Wow, there's only 5. There's only 5 with 2 out of 2, Danny. That's crazy.
It's crazy because this event is hard. It's a hard event.
And when you scroll down, you see Hans with half a point out of 2. Right? Yeah. There's sharks in the bottom of the tank. Like there's no safe places here. You can play anybody with any amount of points.
There's no safe places here. This is not a safe place. This is not a judgment-free zone.
No.
Okay. Well, the next round begins. Lavon Aronian and Jeffrey Zhang. This should be a fun one. Oh, look at this early E5. I love this stuff.
2 explosive players. Levon is so full of these ideas. Now, I'm sure E5 has been played before, but I'm not familiar with it off the top of my head. I'll put it that way. And I think neither is Jeffrey.
Yeah, it's one of those shots you're aware of in this structure, and you look for it all the time as both white and black later on. But this is becoming more popular as the computers are like, hey, why not just play for it right away and isolate the doubled C pawns? But in exchange, of course, black gets the initiative a little bit, quicker development.
I mean, I personally would not play this with white unless you've prepared it just, extensively, but Levon obviously has. So we have trades here. Bishop takes F3. Queen takes F3. I just want to point out that this is very enticing for a lot of people.
Yep.
But the knight gets trapped at the end of the line. Just walk over and pick it up, and black gets too much material.
I'm so glad you showed that because I also saw it as quickly as you did.
Is that so? Congratulations, Danny. Would you like me to hand deliver a medal?
What are some of the other games here in this round? We've got Aronian and Zhang. Wait, Fabiano and Hikaru already took a draw.
Already drew.
LOL, those two guys.
Let's take bets on how they drew. Berlin, anybody? Danny, what's your call?
Berlin.
Okay, are we in agreement about something?
Well, we also agreed on what to wear today. So,
yeah,
there you go.
We're on a roll. Look at this. A Berlin draw for the first time. Not only is it Berlin,
I could have, if you had asked for more info, I could have told you what the final position was with the queens on D4 and D6. Like Wesley So's stamp on how to make a quick draw exists. Or
who's the prophet here? I mean, it's actually Danny Rensch.
The prophet is right again. Anyway, I'm a little disappointed, but I think I understand it from both sides. Like Fabi's like, look, I mean, Hikaru's really good at this whole rapid time control. I'm in the lead, and Hikaru's like, I'm black. Let's just make a quick draw if you're not going to push. So,
I mean, their primary goal is to qualify to the Sunday knockout, and you got to understand it from their perspective too. Like, it's mutually beneficial for them to gain half of a point off of each other and stay, firmly on top.
Yep.
So it's understandable. Okay, so a very unbalanced endgame. I don't like looking at this, Danny. There's something very aesthetically displeasing about this entire position from both sides. Do you agree?
It's unique, uniquely awkward. Yeah, unique New York.
Look at this. Look, just this.
Yeah.
This.
I love the face you just made to me. Too bad everyone didn't see on camera. The way you made that, the face of repulsion, I love it. I want to see more of that.
to come back to our mayonnaise discussion, it's exactly the face that I make when I'm going to like a drive-through or a fast food restaurant, and I like specify no mayo, and then I open the burger just to check, and there's like what I see the white outline on top of it, and I know I'm throwing it in the trash. That's the face that I make right then.
There you go. And now Danya's mayonnaise face. All right, castle's long. This again, this is an awkward position. It's an original position, which I think both sides are happy with. Levon says, I'm going to play an endgame here against the my younger opponent. Bishop e3 is a good threat that Danya highlighted there, because if black takes, I assume you'll undouble the pawns.
Yeah, and in fact, maybe Jeffrey's relying on the move rook d5, but concretely, maybe White can play f4 to cover the e5 square. I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, wait, does this happen in the game?
No, he's thinking after h5, but oh no, now it's happened.
No, I was going to say, I think it did. Yeah, bishop e3.
It did happen. And he's played f4. Wow.
Bishop e3, rook d5, f4. Is he going to play c4?
Well, the problem is there is this knight d4.
Yeah,
a3, b4. That's his idea. Ooh, and he's starting to get to some of these black pawns on the queen side. White's pawns, they might be structurally damaged, but they're very well protected by the bishop, by the king. They're inaccessible. I think White's better, practically speaking.
Yeah, and if black doubles rooks on the d file, White will play rook hd1, and then b4 is still coming. I love this idea of b4 because it exchanges the doubled c pawn weakness for a new advantage, which is the open a file and the a7 pawn. And I think that's just always a good lesson for players watching the top grandmasters of the world. Allow your advantage to evolve, right? Don't get stuck on beating your head against the wall. And b4 is a very strong threat.
Yeah, and a5 would have walked into a fork, by the way, on b6. Whoa. G5. Jeffrey sensing the urgency, opening up the king side. I love that move.
The structure, right? There you go.
He's heading for g2.
So do you trade on the g file and rely on the fact that the knight will be better than the bishop in this endgame because of all of black's structural pawn weaknesses?
There is one issue, which is that h2 pawn. Right now, it doesn't seem like a problem, but if black pushes to h3, that bishop could pick it off later. And it's all about the long-term weaknesses in the endgame. Knights aren't very good at defending weaknesses.
Yeah.
Okay,
so there's still no real threat. Yeah, so he plays d4. Rook g2 can be met now by both king d3 or rook f2.
The rook f2, maybe there's bishop h4.
But he's going to trade anyway and then pop to d3. Just don't play king f3 after you take on g2.
No! Yeah. God, Levon saw mate in 1. Can you believe that?
Mind-blowing. Now probably play pawn h3. Yeah, look at that, dude. I say
Great
it,
minds.
highlight it.
We are just synced up right now. But I actually changed my mind. I don't like h3 anymore.
Oh, okay. Darn it.
Because it gives up the g3 square. I go rook g3, and
now
if you try to get
bishop g5, yeah.
Yeah, and actually both. Yeah, we are synced up. Bishop takes e3 and then f4.
Yep.
And then I snag this little guy, and then I take e3 and get into a winning pawn endgame. That's totally what's going to happen.
Is that on the board now?
No.
Okay.
He's played h4.
H4, rook g4, and knight to c5. Spicy, no? It's a spicy.
It's a very spicy. But knight take e6.
So how do you
trying to distract the bishop?
I'm asking for a friend. I've got, a few thousand of them in chat but I obviously know the answer. How do you quickly evaluate whether you should head to the rook ending or keep the balance, the dynamic imbalance of bishop versus knight in this position? Like,
I think
what are the Danya factors that rattle in your head?
Well, immediately you look at activity of the rooks and the kings, which is in black's favor. So from that perspective, taking seems like a good idea, right? Rook on g4 is tying down white's rook. Then you look at the king. Okay, white's king is a little further advanced, but it doesn't seem to have any clear pathways. But then you look at the amount of long-term weaknesses, and that's what gives you pause. Because yes, h4 is the most visually evident weakness, but look at c6. Look at a7. White's rook could attack both of those from the queen side, and it can be defended by the king. So I'm sensing a repetition in the works. I feel like what's going to happen is some sort of rook b1 check, king c7, rook a1 thing.
Yeah, little tickle. I think you might once again be proving your name proud.
Yes.
The profit is real.
That
Do you like keep a crystal ball in front of you? Is that how you're cheating? Like we're all seeing, you've got a crystal ball like right in front of you, just off camera, where you just see the future.
I want to make a compilation because I'm pretty proud of some of these actually. You know, some of these calls are just obvious calls which make me look good, but like this one I'm pretty happy with.
Well, you did it. You predicted it. Heading over back to the games tab. What else is still going? Let's go check out Wesley So and Undraken, two of the leaders who didn't agree to a quick draw. Whoa.
Goodbye, Wesley.
I think we walked into a blunder, Bob. Hey, Bob, I think we walked into a blunder.
I believe I agree because queen takes b8, Danny. There just follows rook takes b8 and king g7, and all of white's pieces are hanging simultaneously.
Queen e1 is the problem in the end here, right? Queen e1 for black.
Jesus. Queen e1 is, oh my God. So how does black win exactly? Is it just knight takes c4?
Or is it rook takes b6 first, queen takes, and then?
Huh.
I'm just guessing here.
It could also be
down there. What?
It could also be some slow move, but what exactly? I mean, white doesn't have any threats. White is totally paralyzed.
Yeah, but you're right. There is no knockout here for black. That's what's deceptive about it.
I think a lot of people would automatically say, oh, 2 pieces for a rook. Great. But the issue is that white picks up a lot of these pawns, and this is anything but convincing. I don't see Undraken going for this. He's still much better. He's even maybe has rook b8 here. That's actually a game-changing move.
That's very nice. You trade on f1 and bishop d3 check at the end.
Yep. But I'm a little skeptical. You don't want to go for endgames against Wesley in general. So rook b7, yeah, he has made a slow move.
He plays rook b7. This is a really instructive position, I think, for viewers who are looking at. I mean, legitimately, I don't think there was a better move than that, and the eval backs it up. Just a rook b7 move, preparing to double. And the highlight to take away here is that white can't improve his position.
No, it's amazing. I mean, everything is hanging. Bishop f1 is a sad move. Can black go rook fb8? What's the catch?
Right? Looks pretty.
Oh, queen a4 maybe.
In some of these lines, there's still queen e1 and bishop d3. I know I mentioned that before, but queen e1, bishop d3, because the bishop is pinned. I think that's an idea.
No, it definitely is an idea, but I would want to find something more convincing. I think Undraken would want something more convincing than allowing queen a4. But what exactly? Maybe you take the bishop.
I thought you were shifting into a Yasser. Exactly, Danya. Exactly.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly,
Danny.
yeah.
Gift to the bishop.
Exactly. Yeah.
Precisely. Well, Danny, this reminds me, a couple of years ago, I was playing in the Phillips and Drew tournament in London. I was facing Dr. John 9.
Because this reminds me of Tilburg, 1972. When Gary Kasparov came through the door for the first time. No, sorry, go ahead.
No. Danny, please finish your story.
Are we switching into a dueling Yasser Sarawan here? And they said, Jen, they always said, Yasser.
Yeah, I honestly, do not appreciate the fact that I have been excluded from the commentary. It's Yasser and Yasser, and are you saying that there is no room for for the world champion? Is that what you're trying to say?
Gary,
Danny.
It's what the world has come to. These days kids don't always know. All right, king g7.
Okay, I think black is up a piece. Am I wrong?
I think that's exactly what happened. At the end of this line, Undraken figures it out, takes home the dub, or is going to, up a piece. And
I want to look at Kosteniuk's game.
Alexander
She
Kosteniuk
has
with the black
1.5 out of 2.
Yeah, she's doing well. It's a pretty good position here. I mean, it's a dynamic one. Look at g4 and g5. That's a spicy.
That's actually highly disturbing. But g6 does technically trap the bishop, but white could simply respond with g4, g5, counterattacking the knight.
Yeah, the f6 knight's defended by the rook on c6, so you can get away with g6, but I don't know if you want to.
You know what else you can get away with?
What is White's threat with G5? Like, if I like take A2 and you play G5 and I take and then play knight E4 and just let's just go, right? Everything just gets nasty.
Well, first of all, if you take A2, you get your queen.
I was testing you. You passed barely.
I passed, so I can keep my job.
Yes, F+.
Okay, good. I like how we said at the same time. Literally. I don't see, but the problem with G5 is that it weakens the D5. So it's not only Black's king that could end up in danger, it's also the entire center that could evaporate in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, G4 was quite the move, especially from a practical point of view.
I don't see a move for Black, and Sasha is down to 3 minutes. She goes queen C5. That might be the most practical move.
Yeah, with the queens off the board, G5 is far less scary. Also note that when the rook comes to C5, you're protecting the D5 pawn, so kind of fixes that other problem, right? So that's a nice move, actually. I mean, again, White apparently has a tiny edge here, but that was it's a very practical approach there.
94, another great move, because you can't take D5 now. F2 will hang with checkmate.
Yep.
And if you take E4, well, then it's an end game, and G5 hangs.
Yeah, at the end of the line, G5 is falling.
Stanyuk is doing a great job navigating these complexities.
Yeah. And up on the clock, by the way. She's more than a minute ahead, or roughly.
Indeed. And the pawn count still currently equal. David could try G6 here, but that would open up Black's rook, and that's another headache for White. He's down to a minute 55. This looks like a draw.
Yeah, she's going to take G5 with check, take on B3, and or the reverse order. And we have an equal rook ending. Now she's up a minute, so yes, it's a draw, but she doesn't have to agree to it. Not right away, anyway.
Right. And I feel like, okay, rook C2. We might have another trade of rooks if Parabian goes rook D2. He does. And I'd be a little bit worried about trading, Danny, from Black's perspective, because of the distance between Black's king and White's potential pass. I don't know about that decision. I feel like Sasha has to be careful here.
Yeah, I completely agree. Again, objectively, still best play should be a draw. Rook E5 is a good move, cuts off the White king, makes it a little bit harder for progress to be clear.
I just thought of a pun for my Monday JSCC matchup. Progress.
You had what on Monday?
I thought of a pun for my JSCC commentary.
Oh, you thought of a
Monday.
good pun? Do you want to test it out here? I'm a very good audience for
No, you put the thought in my head and you said progress, and Prague is playing on Monday.
Oh,
you can't make progress.
Now that's progress. Look at that. Let's actually bring up the preview there.
Because if only we had the card like at the ready. Oh
look
man,
at that. Our producer is all over it. Look at it. We call him Quick Trigger Matt. QT Matt. By the way, speaking of QT, we got QT Jelly in the chat saying that they love your impressions. They also note that I do have a lot more variety, just so you know, QT Jelly, but most of my characters also tend to say really offensive things.
That's
so
right.
I don't always bring them into these shows, because when the accents take over, usually the language that comes with those characters is not appropriate for all family-friendly audiences.
Well put. And in the meantime, we have the B pawn blockaded by the Black rook, and Castaño brings her king in just in time. And now it should be a draw.
Yeah, that's not an ideal defensive position if you're looking to always take notes from these. You don't want your rook in that spot if you're Castaño, but because of the timing is so perfect, because she was able to re-maneuver it, trade places, if you will, between the king and the rook. And the rook on F6 hitting F2 is going to make sure that White can't get too aggressive.
Shall we have a gander at some of the other games still going? I feel like this one.
Let's gander. We got Vida Gujarati and Daniel Dubov. We got Anish Giri and Niels Grandelius. What is going on here? Grandelius.
But Giri's down 3 pawns, but it's still not that easy. He's threatening these like drawing ideas with rook A1. Niels, just go rook B5. Jeez.
What is he doing? He's only got okay, there he goes. He's got 30 seconds.
That is an easy move. And I don't think he can flag him though. 30 seconds is plenty in this position. Just push the pawn.
Yeah.
King H4.
Yeah. Now he's out. He's out and about. Walkabout.
Anish is going to try, but
King G5. Now you're far enough advanced now. You can give up some pawns and take this one home.
King h7. I would have gone king h8, but okay.
Yeah, king h7 was actually subtly a bad move because you deprived yourself another pawn advance square, but not
King
going to
g6.
matter.
King g6 is more accurate. And Niels is not playing this too accurately. He's going to take a little longer to win this than he should, but now he wins.
Yeah,
now he's
15 seconds.
20. That's an ocean of time. But why is he like?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Let's watch the
Into
technique.
Pre-movable territory now.
Yeah, 10
right
seconds.
On cue, by the way. Guess whose game is still going?
I was going to point that out. Krikor. And he's going to lose. Josman's going to flag him. Josman's going to flag him for sure.
He's
This
going
is
to flag him
flag.
despite it being a drawn rook ending.
I mean, this is one of the easiest flags, actually, because you can push your pawn at any moment if you're afraid of repetition.
Yep. And Josman, as we've already seen from the highlights of week 9, we saw the swindle against Wesley that you called so well. Josman.
There's some stalemate ideas there, but okay.
Josman flags people in endgames like this for breakfast.
Yep. This isn't even close.
Let's go back to the only other game going besides Krikor and Josman here is we've got Rasmus Fein versus India.
Knight b3.
Nice. Okay, well, another round in the books, right? That was round 3. Feels weird when you have a full set of commentary where you didn't talk about Fabiano or Hikaru, and that's because they drew their game against each other very quickly. But there's the standings. Feast your eyes, as they say. Dmitry Ondrakin is the only perfect score remaining at this point.
And he will play either, Hikaru or Nakamura. Or Hikaru Nakamura. I think one of those 3.
Wait, did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, I did.
You said Hikaru or Nakamura.
Yeah, that was because there was an old Agenmatter clip where he basically says, and Hikaru played Nakamura and they drew.
Sorry, it went right above my head, but that's why you're so good at what you do.
You think I make mistakes or ever misspeak as a commentator? Are you implying that is something that I'm capable of doing?
Never, ever,
okay,
ever,
just
ever.
checking, making sure.
I'm just checking out the different chat rooms here. We've got YouTube, as usual, talking about relevant content. They're down a four-player chess rabbit hole. Just kidding. We love you, YouTube. Shout out to old Uncle Bob on YouTube. Twitch, we see you.
What's up?
I see you.
Twitch
I acknowledge
people.
you. I hear you, right? Some say you're listening to Jimmy, but you ain't hearing Jimmy. Okay? We hear you. Look at this. Hikaru.
Spicy.
E3, A5.
Open the Tabasco sauce. Okay, A3, close the Tabasco sauce. A4, B4 is the idea.
It's a principled move, A5 against B3. I know it's obviously not the immediate thing you think of when you're learning chess, control the center, develop your pieces. But B3, A5 is not a bad response. Thematically, you prepare A4. You also can expand eventually space with B5. So anyway, interesting stuff.
Yeah, this is not as outlandish as I think people might think it is, because you're exploiting the hook on B3, and this is already transposing to more conventional waters as Dmitry adopting a King's Indian setup. The question will be whether he puts his pawn on D6 or D5, but there's a gazillion possible setups here.
Hikaru doing a rare think here, right? Doing a rare think. He's entertaining his viewers with some commentary, talking about where he wants this position to go. But overall, I'm a little bit skeptical of the time management, to be honest.
Right. I mean, I could play D4, but, actually, I think I'm going to play E3 first. I'm going to develop my king set and then play D4 after that.
Okay. Flexibility is king when you're playing these positions, the double fianchetto. White still has all the options in the center, C4, E4, or E3, C4, all the things.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons. I mean, first of all, that Hikaru likes these setups.
Yep.
And that he's so good at them. That it's like a jellyfish. It has no shape. You can push any of your pawns to any square, and for that reason, it's very hard for Black to find a counter setup. Because whatever setup Black plays, Hikaru will play something that exploits its drawback. And here we go. Right, he's got E3, immediately exploiting the weakness of the B5 pawn. Nothing insane, but it's
crazy
good.
One, right? I mean, if I'm black, like, you know what I want to do here? I wanted to play bishop b7 and give up b5. Unsound sacrifice. I want to see those light squares all alone, but
yeah, but then I would have brought my bishop back around to g2.
yeah, okay, all right, fine. Is white really going to develop the bishop on the f1 a6 diagonal here, or are you going to go back to g2?
I think he's going to go to g2. Well, the only thing you would have to be careful about
is b4.
Is right? b4.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't cancel.
But what you can do, well, you could put a knight on c4. I don't feel like this is an insurmountable problem. Or you could go rook a4. No, I guess not.
What a weird position. Black can play c5. Yeah, I mean, this is just a mess of a moment.
Yeah, I mean, and Hikaru responding with b4, shutting down the bishop. I kind of like that move, but also it delays white's development, and he might pay the price for that.
Yeah, I mean, because you start looking at things like AB, like if the dark square diagonal becomes open, now c5 is a really effective move for black, right? The bishops are staring each other down there. I don't know that knight d5 works for black, or even, okay, c5 right away. Andrei
Speak of the devil.
Yeah. I love this move actually for Andrei, and to me, this is, while we know how experienced Hikaru is in his favorite double fiend, Keto, Ready, Nimzo, Hippo, Larson, whatever the bleep you want to call it, right. I think Andrei has a very deliberate approach here against Hikaru, Danya. Like, he came ready for something like this.
It's a cliche, but he wants to take him out of his comfort zone. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what the definition of trying to take someone out of their comfort zone.
Why is Andrei just sneaky so damn good? He's always there.
He's always there. He is always there.
Hey, I'm here, just being really good at chess all the time. Look at me.
It's the universality of his style. The fact that he can do this is a good representation of what makes him so dangerous. He can play, he's like a shapeshifter. You know, he can play what literally openings on either end of the spectrum. You can see him in a sharp Najdorf, and then the next game he plays like the most solid London system of all time. There are not a lot of players like it, even at the top. Hikaru's like that, of course, which is also what makes him so hard to play.
But you called it. White sacrifice development in order to try to parry the threats on the queen side, I guess. But now he's paid the price. Black can play knight d5. Black can even move the queen and quickly put rooks on d8 and c8, and you just feel like strategically black is in a great spot here, a little bit ahead in development.
Hikaru did something wrong. Yeah, this move b4.
Yeah, I think that
if we rewind a little bit, this made too many weaknesses. It was too flimsy, and I think he underestimated the c7, c5 advance.
Yeah.
As we go back to the current position. Now look at these weaknesses. c3, the king. Black has a nice pawn wedge. Andrei is in charge here.
Yeah.
He is in charge.
For show. Both for show.
Shall we tour around the top?
Let's do it. Let's go grab ourselves another beautiful butterfly.
How about another weak game?
Aronian?
Boring.
Boring. Yeah, let's not go check out Caruana and Aronian.
No, not in the mood. No.
Not into it. We got Zhang versus Serrana.
And we got this game.
Jocelyn versus the Big Fish.
A little more interesting.
Yeah. Opposite side castles. You know how I feel about that. Very few things in life that get me more excited than opposite side castling.
Well, other than commentating with me, that makes me more excited,
that was
right?
One of them. I said very few things.
You did.
Yeah. Knight comes back to f3. I like that move because white is relocating for where the money is. That's on the queen side. If you can double on the b file and play knight d4, but then black has g6.
At the same time, I feel like black's playing these positions is always easier in a practical sense. Yeah, and there's g6 because black has. Let's put it this way: the g2 pawn is a lot. I want to say a lot worse defended than the b6 pawn, which is anchored by this beautiful knight, which is in turn anchored by the pawn. So black's setup is rock solid here.
Yeah. You've got dueling knight wedges there, but black's wedge is It's a little more effective overall. F3 allows the doubling on the G file.
He wants rook e2. I think he wants to connect the rook to the pawn, but it creates, weaknesses on the dark squares. No, this is not going in the right direction for Jose, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Fedoseev, very good at these positions. Also up about 45 seconds on the clock. There he is. Coming to us.
Big Vlad.
Coming to us from a red couch and a shirt that's a little too small.
Well, he was in the Vatican the last couple of weeks, so I guess it's a bit of a downgrade, but the couch looks pretty comfortable.
Rook e2 played as you predicted. The time advantage is disappearing for the big fish.
Yeah, the question is, how does Black intensify the pressure on the g2 pawn? And he creates the pin, but the knight on d4 is also very well protected.
These positions are I have such a hard time evaluating the long-term setup in these positions because, okay, you take like the bishop on a4 and the rook on a2 as an example. The bishop on a4 is keeping the rook on a2 in many ways because of the pressure. But you also would love to be able to use that bishop for some other purpose. Same with the rook. I mean, where do you want your pieces long-term in these positions? It's so tricky.
Because what's hard about it is that every piece, like you said, you want it, like bishop on a4 isn't that bad, but if it moves, it allows stuff.
Yep.
So you never know, like, do you keep your pieces on the squares that they're on? Which piece do you move? He moves his knight, which sounds very surprising because the knight looked like Black's strongest piece. Where is he moving it and why? Is he trying to go knight f5 and get rid of White's knight? Is he trying to go bishops back to c6 and prepare some sacrifice on f3? Maybe.
Yeah, that's
maybe
what
he doesn't even know where he's going.
It's not my piece.
I think he wants knight c6 actually, if I understand this correctly.
Yeah, and that's interesting because the obstacle bishop position I think is probably better for Black. Although if you open up e3 for the bishop on d2 and then the rook gets to the b file, watch out, right?
So for instance, knight c6, and I'm sure that's what he's thinking about. Takes rook b1. White already has a threat. That's bishop b3.
Yeah, it's actually not what you want. So you have to be super careful.
I guess not. He's got knight c6. Uh-oh. Apparently that was a mistake precisely for that reason. He underestimated.
We saw this coming. I mean, here comes rook to b1. I think you should play that first.
Yes, and if Black plays b5, he traps his own bishop. He starts with bishop b3 also. Very good. He also has the d file. Let's not forget about this.
I was going to say that move order also keeps.
Oh my God, rook d2.
Rook d2 is just good.
Or rook b1 first, and then rook d2.
Yeah, this is falling.
He's all over him
for Fedoseev.
But I understood why Vladimir traded knights. It appeared that he would get pressure on g2 and f3, but he underestimated how well defended those pawns are and how much his queen side will collapse and how quickly it'll collapse. Whoa, girl! Oh my goodness.
B6, Bueller. I mean, there are crazy threats here, like rook takes g2. By the way, with the bishop and queen on the diagonal, this is something to watch out for.
I don't know. I think Jose should start with rook d2. Just get this queen off of the d file and then snap on b6.
Put an end to these shenanigans. In fact, where does the queen go on rook d2? You have to go to a5.
Only move. Exactly. And even bishop takes b6.
Yeah, bishop takes is even
mighty
better.
appealing.
Takes c3 or a3 without a discovered check.
Wow.
Yeah, but what happened in this game, not to toot our own horn, was a really good example of why we said it's such a tricky position, because optically and for the evaluation, Black was better with the knight on d5. But what did he do? He pushed too hard and remaneuvered himself into a bad version of an obstacle bishop position, right? Very, very strange.
And speaking of instructive positions, if we go back to the boring game, it looks like Fabi has made lemonade out of lemons.
I could go for
some lemonade. Sounds pretty good right now.
Squeezed?
Wow.
Fresh squeezed lemonade? You kidding me? Really, the Hikaru game is a total mess, according to Cutie Jelly in Twitch chat. By the way, the Chosen One did what you failed to do and complimented my beard. So no wonder the username, the Chosen One, is the Chosen One. So
wait, I failed to compliment your beard?
Yeah, you failed to compliment my beard, but Chosen One didn't.
I thought I complimented it before the commentary. How many times do you want me to compliment it?
Well, I didn't hear you if you did.
Okay. Touche.
All right,
Speaking of
Hikaru's getting with
touche.
E5 and on Drake in here. What a mess of a world we are living in here. But I still like on Draken's position that C2 pawn. When the smoke clears, right? When all the fire and gun smoke is gone here, that C2 pawn is weak at the end of all these lines.
Yeah, but by the time the smoke clears, Black might have 1 minute on his clock.
Oh,
And
I didn't
by
even
the way,
see that. Okay, yeah.
I just wanted to point out that taking the rook here would have been maybe not bad, but this looks bad because you also lose the other knight. And maybe Black can move his queen and get pressure on the d4 knight. But in any case, on Draken moving his knight back, that's more understandable.
Yeah.
Queen trade is on deck as well, which will make it easier for Black to play. The bishop,
Hikaru,
though.
This could be a position, Donnie, where I could imagine it's still just as much of a mess, and we just take 2 minutes off the clock for each player, right? This could become a really, really huge time scramble.
I think Andraken should focus on improving his bishop. I think if he can get his bishop through f8 to c5, he's going to be in phenomenal shape as Hikaru moves his knight from d4 to b5, potentially. Oh, God. Buckle up. This is about to get even messier. But Andraken's just much better here. Hikaru is still saddled with all these flimsy, weak pawns everywhere.
Yeah, and the space advantage on the king side is irrelevant, you know, without the potential to actually launch a king side attack with the queens off the board. Those pawns in many ways could become weaknesses. Hikaru's going to try to prove me wrong and advance them, but it only comes with more risk for all of the pawns on the king side to become weaker.
The one thing that's hard is, you know, Andraken keeps improving his position, but Hikaru's position is not collapsing. And even if you go rook a to d8, you're not threatening bc. He moves his knight back to a6, so I think he wants bc and the knight before, maybe. Hikaru moves his own knight back. What's going on here?
Knight b3 is a funny move because you almost threaten c4 if a5 can become a target.
Okay, moves. Wait, knight a5.
Wait a second. c4 and then knight a5. c4. Oh, knight b3 first.
Knight b3 hits the rook on a1. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if you take on a5 straight away? What exactly? Oh, knight d3. Oh my goodness.
Man.
Andraken is the guy, just doesn't miss anything. Or as I like to say on my streams, he sees everything.
Okay, wait. He took a5 and meets knight b3 with knight c4, that being Hikaru.
He ate of the forbidden fruit. Of the forbidden tree, however you say it.
Yeah, but what's the knockout for Black? He calls on Draken's bluff. What's the move? Is it bishop c5 for? Oh, just rook c8. Just hit.
No, but knight b6. But knight b6 is a fork.
Wait, what?
Oh my God! Apparently, rook c8, knight b6. Now you sack on c8. You sack on c8, and then you go knight c4, hitting the rook, right?
b3.
And the pawn is unstoppable. B2 and knight d2. If he finds this, if he finds this.
Shut the front door, Stockfish. Nobody even likes you anymore, Stockfish.
No, nobody likes you, and he didn't go for it. But he went for something very similar. He got his pawn to b3. Chances. And now Hikaru is establishing a stronghold on b6, and here comes Hikaru again. I mean, this is what he does.
Yep.
I think Hikaru is going to win this game.
I agree with you, and it's so amazing because I think obviously there was a tactical opportunity for Andraken, but how hard was it to find that? Nearly impossible for a human in this time control. And Hikaru just has a sixth sense for that stuff, right, Danya? You know how Bruce Willis saw dead people? Or wait, was that Haley Joel? Hikaru's sixth sense is recognizing those critical moments, right, where he makes a move that, yeah, I guess, you know, he should have been punished, but I think he has a very good intuition for when it's time to take those types of risks.
Yeah, it's honestly second to none, and he factors in how much time his opponent has, and he never gives you an easy win. I mean, maybe against Esipenko, he had a chance, but even there, he just sensed that Andre was starting to play fast, and he wasn't looking for tactics, and that's when he pounces, he presses the gas pedal. But Hikaru has less time, and Andraken is playing super fast and not very well, as he's just blundered knight d4, and now the knight is coming to c6, and the wheels have come completely off for Dimitri.
You stole it right out of my wheelhouse, the wheel reference. By the way, are there more wheels or doors on the planet?
Are there more
wheels or doors
on the planet, like on Earth?
Yeah, just let that ponder in your head throughout the rest of the show today.
That is, black is about to not have any wheels or rooks, and Andraken's going to resign.
The wheels have come off. The wheels have come off. C4 and the rook has run out of squares.
That took him 4 moves.
Yeah, what a creative display of how to defend and put the pressure on your opponent from Hikaru Nakamura here. I mean,
Jose,
F7 is falling. C5 is hanging.
2 pieces down, and I mean, oh my goodness! And
if you had given the position 10 moves ago and said in 10 moves black will be down 2 pieces.
No, right? No, this is a different game, right? This is something else. It can't be this. I mean, Hikaru's taking every single one of Andraken's pieces and mating him.
By the way, Levon held that draw against Fabiano. That might be the result that shocks me the most.
That is very impressive. I mean, we looked at that endgame briefly. That looked miserable. I thought it was
Rover.
And you got a little fortress here with Fabiano unable to move his knight anywhere because he loses his pawn, and he can't bring his king to defend his pawn because the king is defending the knight. Oh, my lands.
Oh, my lands. First, all my lands reference of the day, huh? Way to go, buddy. You did good. You held off for almost an hour.
I held off. And Grischuk beating Kosteniuk. We got Paravian still playing against Grindelius.
Great. As far as top 10 usernames, like of all time, for a grandmaster with a name like Grandelius, turning it into Grandelicious, can we just give just give a tip of the hat and a golf clap for Grandelicious? What a username.
Golf clap. I'm all for the golf clap. He's also trying to clap white on the B2 square.
Yeah. Speaking of clapping.
Right. Speaking of applause.
How do you? But wait, white's better here. I guess
it was not C3 is good.
Oh, A3 hanging though. Oh, but D3.
And King A1, Queen B2.
Yeah, you have a check.
Hides. It's not over.
Saved by the check on the diagonal. Okay. Rook to C1. Get him off.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Winning, but not obvious, and he's got less time.
Yep.
No, but he should win this. Oh, but he's got a passer too.
Okay, though. Here comes F5. We got a little
Queen C4.
Queen C4, and it's Red Rover.
He had to go to G7.
Now just pre-move the king up there. Grandelicious throws in the towel. Not so delicious was that one.
Is Andraken? No, Andraken resigned. Okay.
Who else do we got still going? Lo and behold, Grandmaster Creekor is still playing, by the way.
Oh, he is? I think he just finished.
Okay, he just finished.
Yeah, I think all of the games have just about done. Hess was still playing. How is he doing? Let's check.
Let's go check.
How's Robert doing?
Where's Mr. Hess?
He's at 1.5 out of 4. Respectable.
Yeah, he's number 29. If you scroll down there. All right. Well, what have we learned at this point in the rodeo that is the Rapid Chess Championship Swiss Saturday? What have we learned?
Hikaru is a runaway train, and he can win any position. And I feel like Hikaru and Fabi are once again just shining. They're just a mile above the rest. Although Fabi, he failed to win that position against Levon. The question in my eyes is going to be on Drake and Jeffrey. We got Noterbeck up top too. We haven't looked at his games yet. Maybe we'll take a look next round. Yep. Can they maintain the pace? Can they keep themselves in the top 8? We'll see.
Well, and don't go anywhere when we come back. If we have a little bit of time, maybe we'll quickly review how Fabi let that one slip away from Levon, because now with Nakamura sitting in clear first at 3.5 out of 4, that half a point may not prevent Fabi from dancing tomorrow on Sunday, but definitely one that might come back to bite him. So don't go anywhere. It is Swiss Saturday. The Rapid Chess Championship returns in a few.
Go King
Wait
G4.
a moment. Knight back to F1. Amazing. Oh my God, you have to.
Oh, stalemate!
He should have made a bishop. He could have flagged him with a bishop.
Oh my gosh.
Does David and Tone? Oh, David and Tone is slightly worse timings. Fedoseev still qualified.
Wait, no.
He didn't.
No, he didn't. And David qualifies.
Oh,
The stalemate gets him through.
this is unreal.
Oh my gosh.
He surpasses Fedoseev, poor Vladimir, by less than one tiebreak point. And
Oh my
probably had
goodness.
Auto Queen on. Kovalyov is cursed in this tournament.
Yeah, he got checkmated by Anish Giri in an unlosable position.
But how do you draw this endgame? Oh my gosh. What? How is this even possible?
We are getting back here to the Rapid Chess Championship, but we should also remind you we're going to be getting back to the Women's Speed Chess Championship. It returns coming up in May. It's going to be running over the summer. Super excited, super pumped for the WSCC, highest prize fund we've ever had for that event at 70 Gs. Shout out to FIDE, our organizing partner for that event. And shout out to that just sexy looking design there. I just love that design. I love it. It looks great.
It looks snazzy. I love it. Snappy. Snazzy. I think I can use that word.
Yeah, you can say
in
that.
this context.
Yeah. Well, the next set of games will be beginning momentarily here. Moving on to round 5 of the Rapid Chess Championship. At the break, you and I were just fascinated. How did Fabiano not put this one away? Harder than it looks. Levon gets credit for being in such a passive position here, Danya, but he held on. He plays A5. All you can do when you're defending sometimes is just try to get pieces off the board. And I think that's where Fabi messed up. Trading rooks rather than maybe trying to improve the position first, using the rook and knight and king for a mating net. How would you have played this differently than what he did?
Yeah, I think trading rooks maybe wasn't wrong objectively, but practically Levon with 2 minutes on the clock. If you just play, I don't know, rook D3, the engine likes attacking the rook, but even G4 and if rook E8, rook D6.
Yeah.
And, but okay, once he traded rooks, it's still winning, but he somehow got his pawn too far and he wasn't able to protect it properly. This was a big mistake. So king F5, you had to keep black's king shut out.
That's really the difference right there.
Hard move to play.
If you keep the black king shielded, then your knight can play tickle. You can target B5. You can slowly advance. But he instead checks Levon's king into a better spot. And that ends up really, really making a huge difference.
This is,
wow.
He didn't even get to the B5 pawn at all. Like he wasn't even able to win it. And
well, a half a point slips away from Fabiano right there. He'll have to review that one another day. Let's check in with the fair play cam crew. Look at that, Anish Giri acting like he's focused. Look at Anish acting like he's focused. Will someone click and ship that to Anish, please?
Concentrating.
What?
Pretending that he's concentrating.
He's pretending that he's concentrating.
He's actually on Twitter.
he's closely closely considering his next opportunity to troll someone on Twitter right now. All right. Well, the next set of games begin. Here we have Lavon and Hikaru. Probably not going to have a more marquee matchup than that this round, although
No.
Grishik and Caruana are playing as well.
Jeez. That's crazy. And Noterbeck and Wesley, that's another
Yeah.
one we shouldn't fall asleep on.
Maybe let's go check out. I'm off the mouse again. I showed the analysis of how Fabi failed in that endgame versus Levon. You're back in control, buddy. You know, this is weird for me, but I'm gonna let you drive, right? Rihanna, drive this thing.
I love that song. I've listened to it many, many times. Yeah.
If you want to go to So and Noterbeck, that's up to you.
Well, GMs are known for their driving ability. Yeah, let's go to So and Noterbeck. Let's go to So and Noterbeck. And we have a pretty crazy opening here. This looks like some sort of a Queen's Gambit gone haywire. What's
Wesley
happening?
likes these Queen's Gambits with Castle Long. This has become a regular part of his repertoire. Not just in this event, but you see him playing it a lot. And
yeah, you do.
Observe the same thing. I mean, obviously Noterbeck not necessarily thrown off by the theory. Position is roughly equal. He's up on the clock, but I feel like I see Wesley in a lot of these sort of obscure queenside castles, QGD openings.
And if we generalize this, I think there's a whole new crop of players who like to play 1d4 openings, but aggressively. And it's the same school of thought that has created 3h4 against g6. I think earlier people associate, okay, 1e4 if you're a tactical player, 1d4 if you're a positional player. Now the line has been blurred, and lots of players like Wesley play 1d4 and go for checkmate.
Right. And then some players still play 1d4 and play bad openings like the London.
Exactly. Yeah, plenty of those.
Plenty of those out there. Plenty
Black
of fish
is in
in the
trouble,
sea, as they say. Well, if
Black
you
is in
take
trouble.
G3,
G4.
Knight F6 check would have won the rook. So instead, Noterbeck
Black loses
advances.
a pawn.
Oh, look at that pawn. Yeah, gone a little too far.
I mean, it's just down a pawn. And he's got no comp on the other side of the board.
He also just is good at these lines. And like you said, it's the crop of player who plays D4, but with aggressive, devious intentions.
Right. Now, the one idea for Black to consider would be to capture this 9. He does. Then to castle, right? Because you don't want to allow... Knight F6 check here doesn't work because of King E7.
Yeah,
that loses.
Defends the rook.
And the knight is hanging. So you have to take. Then you castle, and then you go Queen E7 and try to get the queen to A3 quickly, knight to A4. There is potential. I might want to reconsider what I said about queenside compensation.
Yeah, if you could pop that queen on A3 and knight A4, Black is really in control. Obviously, Wesley has some opportunities to counter that. You'd love to play a move like Queen F6 because you're up a pawn and just take the ladies off the board, but you can't. After the queen's trade, the rook hangs on H3. So no Queen F6 for you.
But you know what you could have done? Instead of rook takes H3, take it with the queen, how does that change anything? Well, if Black does the same thing in this position, you have to move Queen H4. Exactly.
I said it before you could play it.
I mean, that medal I was talking about, I have it at the ready. I can present it to you. It's not a problem.
Hey, you know, I'm intimidated doing commentary. It's a lot easier doing commentary with Hess because, you know, I mean, come on, right?
We know, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it. He's
right.
not
No,
here.
we don't. Exactly.
No,
He's
I'm
playing.
kidding. No, Queen takes H3, Queen H4 was a strong idea. And it's, whoa, you walk into the knight A4 check. Are you going to go to B3 with your king, Wesley? Are you going to go to B3,
A4.
buddy?
I think he is. Because
wow,
where else could he be going? I mean, C2.
What a guy.
Oh my God, I would be terrified of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like knight A4, king B3, B5 for Black. That's wild.
Well, the eval bar bears it out. It's
loves
good.
White. Loves white.
King is safe here. There's no entry point. I mean, you can't get your queen to B2. Like, that's not easy.
Bug house, queen mates.
That's right. So Noterbeck, I like what he did there. I love this move. Patience, right? He doesn't give a check first. He prepares that A4 check. And now you might even have some knight takes C3 ideas in queen A3.
But it's really interesting to see how well Wesley knows these positions. Even if this is not prep, I think that this type of idea where he's aware the king can safely come to B3 is such an obscure idea. He must know that it's okay for white, or he wouldn't have done it. But here we go. Knight takes c3 is on the board.
That's a draw. It's a perpetual. I mean, that's how it's going to end because king c3, queen a3 check, and you
Queen
could
B4
escape through
stops.
queen b4. The
I
diagonal
thought he was
check.
getting out. Sorry, I missed queen b4. Queen b4 keeps the king there.
Wait, you missed? You just Danny Rensch missed something?
Hey, every once in a while.
Right. You got to show people that you're human, or
Yeah.
fool them into thinking you're human.
But no, because I initially did look at it and I thought, oh, the king gets out via d2, e1, but queen b4, I guess queen a5 as well. Both keep the king on the queen side, and there is no escaping.
And
But
we're
if you
about to
take
see
a2,
that.
for example, white's winning.
Right. He goes for queen a5 check, king c1, queen c3. It's a perpetual. White's piece is all stuck on the king side. Good result for Noterbeck.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So this is a draw.
All
Wow.
right. Where are we going next, Rihanna? Shut up and drive.
Well, Lavon and Hikaru have an end game. I'm not in an end game mood right now. I want to check. I want to look at a middle game. Let's check out. So what do we have? Grisha Caruana. Have we looked at that one yet? No, I don't think we have. Ooh,
Oh,
this is what I'm
Ooh.
talking about.
what is going on here?
I don't know.
Pawn on h4. No one's castled. Shout out
I'm
to
still
you,
counting
chess
the
principles.
pawns.
We left you in the 90s.
Right, exactly. You were so yesterday.
You're so yesterday, chess principles, uncastled kings, doubled pawns, reckless pawn advances on the edge of the board.
But black is up a pawn. It took me about a minute to realize that, but I have successfully counted the pawns.
You've successfully counted the pieces.
I mean, it's hard to count the pawns here.
It is, yeah. It's okay. And even though the eval does like black, the thing I like most about black's position is the 3.5 minute time advantage. The position itself is still very tricky. White does have a big center.
Right. And well, d5 can be considered by white, just ripping open the center because it's unclear. Black is probably going to castle queen side. It's much more likely than king side. And he has gone d5.
Yeah.
But what now? Does he take on e6 and go like rook d1? He's got 3.5 minutes already.
Yeah. No, this is not where Grishik wants to be with no increment. The Saturday format, for those of you maybe somehow just tuning in, it is 10-0. Time scrambles are real in this format.
Now Fabi is spoiled for choice. I even like the move e6, e5 to keep the center closed, then castle queen side and just checkmate white on the king side.
This is like a Nimzo Indian gone like perfectly for black on the queen side. You won that pawn. You just like the knight on a5 and the c5 pawn. So such an easy position to keep closed for black.
Yeah, white literally, I mean, even if black castles here, you don't even need to go e5 if you don't want to.
Yep.
Nah, this is like close to lost for white, practically speaking.
Fabi looking not so fresh there, but playing some good chess today.
He's playing fresh. Yeah, this was a Nimzo Indian actually, and it did go wrong for white. So that's literally what it was.
Oh, it was a Nimzo. Okay, cool. Yeah,
it was a Nimzo.
And it was a Zamish, actually. So it was funny. I didn't think that was the line, but as a Nimzo Indian player, that structure stuck out to me. I'm like, this is exactly what you do. You play c5 to fix the double c pawns. You put your bishop on a6. And
h5 was nice.
That's exactly what happened.
He just won the pawn. And Grishik never got anything going on the other side of the board, which, okay, fancy move there, but Fabi didn't bat an eye. And yeah, he castles and he's in phenomenal shape here.
3.5 minute time advantage as well. So although Fabi did let the last one slip with a clearly winning position against Levon. I mean, Levon defended well, not to take anything away from that.
Yeah, the problem is that the position, I mean, you can keep the structure for the next 15 moves if you want, and he's going to keep milking Grishik's clock. I just don't see a single way that Sasha pulls this one out.
All right, what other games to head back to? As we already observed, Noterbeck and Wesley so drew. Hikaru and Levon are still going at it.
We also have Jeffrey against Jospin. Let's check into Hikaru's game real fast. Let's just see what's going on there.
Yep.
And predictably, Hikaru's up 4 minutes and better.
The isolated pawn on d4. This is the opposite of an isolated pawn advantage. You want activity. The knight going to c7 to b5. Janya he's just going after the pawn. He just wants it.
He's just crushing people. It's not even close. I mean, how many moves have been played? This has been 24 moves, the black pieces. And Levon's about to lose the d4 pawn and lose the game. It's not even going to be a contest here. Also, c6, c5 could be. So if white goes rook c3, for instance, trying to counterattack the pawn, black could go c5 and you can't take it because black's rooks are perfectly doubled on the d file.
No, seriously, this is exactly the opposite of how you can play an isolated queen pawn position successfully. You have to get counterplay. As Yermo once told me, the best isolated queen pawn is an undefended isolated queen pawn, because by definition, it means you've created enough counterplay that your opponent is having to deal with that. But so rook c1's a good example of that. You want to play bishop f5, bishop e4, everything you can to trade that pawn for some other pawn. But okay,
he wants this.
Yeah.
Hikaru's not going to allow that, though, because black doesn't have to rush, and that's the problem. Black can go knight b5, I'm pretty sure, and try to establish one of the knights on d4, and the knight will be guarding the c6 pawn. The rook will be guarding f7. White will be at a counterplay. Yeah,
I think knight b5 is what the doctor ordered here. Hikaru is thinking it over.
Yeah, this one is virtually over. He plays knight b5, bishop f5, but wait, knight takes d4, and it's over. He's going to have a fork on e2. It's not even. Oh my goodness. Wait.
What just happened? What?
Wait. Rook takes d4 was the move.
Rook takes d4 is h4 is still falling at the end of that line too.
And there's also a fork on d4, so that was a lot more convincing. Hikaru rushing there.
Yeah, it kind of lets it get off the hook just a little bit. Will Levon swindle his way to a decent amount of drawing chances? Looks like he did. I mean, that bishop is a better minor piece here than the knight.
Yeah, but the clock. There's just, you cannot have a minute in an end game against Hikaru. You just can't. It's over.
No, you can't. Hikaru's like, that's
exactly what. How did you know? I was tuning into his stream. He literally did just that.
Rook d4, by the way, hit the bishop and the pawn. He doesn't go for it, but
yeah, he's just going to go rook d7
and f7. Yeah. All right, good enough. Hikaru's just going to sit pretty, play a5 with that knight on b4, king f8.
This one's not even close. Okay, so we have a couple of other top games still going. We have Jeffrey against Jospem, a big game.
This is what I want right here. Look at this.
What's happening here? Bishop takes c6, I guess. No, then there was rook takes c6 and queen takes h3.
Can you just...
Oh, and then there might be a check and check. Oh, God, what's happening?
Is it bishop d1? Bishop d1 is a weird retreating move, but if you get rid of that knight... Nope.
No, he takes c6.
He takes c6?
I think knight takes c3 check. Whoa. He didn't go for rook takes c6.
Yeah, rook takes e6 and then queen takes h3 was a move. But you said there was rook e8 and queen d4 check? Okay.
Yeah, but king ran to h6. I wasn't sure what's happening there.
I have no idea what was going on there. Crazy.
What's happening here? I don't know either. I mean, the knight is hanging. Or is it?
Or is it?
Well, it is, because bishop takes f7 check is a threat, and then rook takes c3 simply. So black has to do something about that. Maybe knight b5.
Yeah, but there's also knight g5 coming.
Then knight d4 check. So I think knight b5 actually addresses the immediate problems.
Because of knight d4 check. Good call.
He doesn't like something about it, though. Not sure what it is. Jeffrey offered a draw. I would take it. And he does.
He takes a draw.
Wow.
Oh, man. I want to say shame on these guys. They've had some great battles. Speaking of two guys who played in the Junior Speed Chess Championship over their careers on chess.com. But okay, that was like, hey, I don't want to lose my chance for playing Sunday either. What about you?
Yeah, I don't want to lose them either. So let's be friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of friends, okay, white is not friends with black's king.
Is it? You know what I really want? I want to play e5, sack my queen on g6, and mate you on the h file. That's what I really want.
I think it's going to happen, except the sacking the queen part. I think he is going to mate him on the h file.
Okay.
Wait, now he's going to go e5.
That rook is pinned.
You could even play rook h6 first and then e5 if you wanted to be fancy.
Rook h6 and then e5, followed by rook h1, rook h8, mate.
Dimitri, come on.
The computer just announced mate in 11. That means it's over.
Right. When you see that M,
Yeah.
that's it. That's game. Okay, Grishuk is holding out, but not for much longer.
The time has gotten much closer to equal, but unfortunately the position has not maintained the same balance.
No.
Rook A1.
That's mate. I mean, that pawn on H4 is a monster. The queen is tied down to the knight, and Black's seeing this perfectly. And look at how Black has still maintained most of his pawn show. I mean, this has just been a wire-to-wire victory by Fabi here with the black pieces against Sasha. Man.
Well, and what other games are still going?
We've got Bortnik playing Indian led, and okay.
In case you're wondering, the Krikor watches live. He is still playing.
We've got Hess. Shall we check into Hess?
Let's do it. Oh, Hess is. Oh yeah, Hess and Esipenko. What is? Oh, dude, Robert's winning in the rook ending. Take D6.
Is he? Rook takes. Wait. Rook.
You have to take.
Where's
D6
the win?
ending,
Oh yeah, just take the pawns. Just take the pawn. Robert's slow though.
Let's go, Hess. Let's go.
Come on, Hess, make a move. Rook takes D6 or D8.
Has beaten Magnus Carlsen. If Robert Hess beats Esipenko, now we know who the real world Hess champion is.
F5. Apparently, the move was rook takes H5. That was a hard move to play. You had to take the rook.
And then what's the idea? Take and then like B4,
King G2.
A5? Like you just push.
No, go after the G3 pawn so that Black doesn't get connected. Passers, but now he's winning again.
Okay, rook to D8 still.
I'm afraid of Hess. I'm looking at Hess's clock. Rook E4. He's playing perfectly.
He found it. Hess,
and King F3. Black is in Zugzwang. Black is in Zugzwang.
Dude, if the king backs up, King F3, it's over. Zugzwang.
Yes, he takes both pawns.
Girl.
But if
I brought this mug to the show today for a reason. I put Robert's mug on a mug. It was one of the best things I ever did.
Yes, it was. Now, the one concern as Danny drinks his coffee is that if Andre can get that E7 pawn, Hess might not have quite enough time to flag him with or to win the endgame with. But now the time is equalizing. I think Hess is going to pull through.
I think he is. I think he plus it's one of those moments where the longer Esipenko thought, the easier it was for Robert to get ahead on the right approach as he clearly did, and check and play rook. Okay,
make
hold on.
Robert just
check
take the G pawn. Oh my God, he's so slow.
No, check and rook G4. And if he takes E7, rook G4 check.
No, but then Black promotes. No, but then King moves and Black would have promoted to a queen. Black still had that G2 pawn.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay,
but 16, he should be able to win this because you can pre-move. Everything is defended, Danny. So King F3, King E3, pre-move?
Yeah, pre-move it.
He is.
Dude, okay, it blundered. Esipenko blunders.
It's over. And now Robert's going to win this easily.
Robert Hess taken down one of the top young players in the world in Andre Esipenko.
Dang. As Kostenyuk is... Don't play King F5. Ooh. King takes F6 as a draw.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Okay,
Bishop E2. Now get the king over. You got it. Okay, draw town.
And Fedoseev, is he going to get to the pawn? Yes, he is.
Yes.
Whew. And
there you go.
Guess what? The last game. Oh my!
What is going on here?
I've never seen mate with two bishops and a knight. Stalemate.
Every move is stalemate. Oh my gosh.
This is actually really hard.
Yeah, get the knight out of the way. The knight is confusing things. Get the knight out of the way.
Just go get it to H8.
Get the knight out of the way. Just made him with the bishops.
He's gonna stalemate him.
What's
comes a stalemate? He manages to win.
Oh man, hilarious moment.
Danny, I don't care about that. How is Krikor always the last game? It's
always
uncanny.
The last game. It's like he's doing it on purpose. By the way, that is a good lesson for anyone who's ever in that spot. I know it's weird when we give not just chess advice, but practical advice. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is to just get the piece out of the way and mate with the bishops rather than allow, right? You agree with that advice, right? Just move the knight 100%. Out of the way.
I've made that mistake many times. First order of business to avoid stalemate.
All right, well, as we move to the next round, let's give a shout out again to our sponsor. Remind you, it is the Rapid Chess Championship brought to you by Coinbase. You can learn and earn with Coinbase. Just go to coinbase.com/chess. Like I said, you earn and learn. It feels so good when you say those words, not just because they rhyme. And I'm a sucker for rhyme time on the mic. But you can head over to coinbase.com/chess, get your Bitcoin. Thank you again for their partnership. All right, let's head back over to the Zoom looking. Let's love it.
Let's take a look at those super grandmasters. Man, Anish is focused again. He's really keeping up the act. How is he doing it for that
hasn't
long?
Moved. By the way, can we contact the 5-year-old who made that artwork behind Vidit and see if she can do some stuff for my wall here?
Yeah, that's I like that backdrop.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, we've got Hikaru against Jeffrey on board 1.
Caruana versus Andraken on board 2.
Yeah, and Draken is back to 4 out of 5. So he lost to Hikaru. He won the next game. And then there's a big group of 3.5.
Yeah, big group at 3.5. Clear first for Hikaru, still at 4.5, who took down Lavon and Aronian last game. That's an interesting move.
It's annoying.
It's annoying. And I guess the idea is if Queen A5 check, Knight C3, Queen C5, Bishop E3, White just gets a huge initiative, right?
Oh, I actually didn't see Queen A5 check. Knight C3, Queen C5, Bishop E3.
That's why it gave me pause, because I'm like, it hangs the pawn, but they're obviously White's getting compensation here. You can even just castle, I guess. Yeah,
you castle, and then it just feels, I mean, Knight G6, maybe Black gets away with it. Maybe Black gets away with this. I don't know, Bishop, because if Black can go Bishop E7 and castle and then F5,
yeah,
I mean, there will be trouble.
Black already has a lot of long-term advantages in this structure, in these Sicilians, for those who don't play it, because you have the bishop pair. And so if Black gets out of dodge tactically in the early stages, you have these long-term plans Danya's talking about. F5, you slowly open the center. You also have the pawn majority in the center, which is partly why maybe he plays C5, but it's a weird move.
Well, I think Jeffrey has to go for Queen F5. I don't see how else he can. I mean, he can play Knight G6, but then he's got that damaged queenside pawn structure. It's not something that you really want against Hikaru. You don't want one of those sort of positionally deficient situations.
Yep. Did Robert Hess come into the chat after he won that game? I see people saying hi, Hess.
He rated us.
He rated us?
He did.
Robert, shout out with the raid. I know he doesn't even care about the shout out. He probably's like, hey, I beat Esipenko. I really want to focus now.
And in the meantime,
look at this move. D5? You give up the E5 pawn?
Wow. What a creative approach. What is the follow-up to Knight takes E5? What could it be? Is it Queen A5 check now? No.
Now Queen A5?
But if you play it now, you get none of the advantages of winning the pawn and all the disadvantages. And you've gotten this knight to an active square. No. It can't be that. What? I'm at a loss. I don't get it.
It's funny, Jeffrey has run up against two kind of like oddball Sicilian movers. Remember in the game with Levon, Levon played 5E5, right, in that Rossalimo. And now we have Hikaru playing this move C5, right?
Oh, and he took the pawn, and wow, like 4 moves have been played in the span of 1 second. And none of them are very good for Jeffrey, I think.
He also is down a minute now on the clock. So whatever trickiness Hikaru has played here, Jeffrey will probably be taking a look at it after the event, because not the opening he wanted to get.
That was a good move. Queen D3, I think, is the only way for Black to maintain a playable position, because Black actually doesn't find the trade
in the endgame now. You take on D3 and
but C3. Then maybe White gets like the knight to F. Black gets the knight to F5, and White can't castle. I'm thinking that Hikaru might just go Knight C3 straight away and try to get Black to be the one to take the queen.
Okay. Classic grandmaster move, slightly more accurate than an international master move, whatever.
Right, exactly. Said it better than I could ever say it.
No, I think Knight C3 makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, just develop, and if Black takes, then White develops the bishop, and then you've got no comp at all.
Are you surprised sometimes? I know this is a random sort of macro question, but are you just surprised sometimes by how rich the opening stage still is in chess? I mean, we're talking the highest levels of chess where you watch and play more chess than maybe any other human being on the planet, right? It's what you do. And how often after 10 moves are you still evaluating something that's unique and original and rich? You know what I'm saying? It's fascinating to me that like
It's supernatural.
we've never seen this position before.
It's super nice. It's honestly, it defies logic,
right?
And it defies physics, because you think, imagine like how many Grandmaster games are played constantly on a daily basis, online, over the board, everywhere, the RCC. And not just move 10, Danny, I would even argue that this D4 and queen takes D4 line is already incredibly uncommon. And what Levon played earlier takes an E5, even in this position. It's nuts how many options there are.
And obviously we know the math, you know, it checks out, right? Chess has, you know,
right
to the 10th power, right? 1.4 billion possible positions just from the beginning. So we know, but it's just fascinating when you think about it, and it makes me just sorry. I'm just having a moment of feeling grateful how awesome it is to cover top level chess and be like, oh my God, this is like, obviously, so there's structural things we're familiar with, the isolated queenside pawns. You understand what white wants to do to convert on a technical level. We've seen those ideas before, but still, for a guy like Jeffrey Zhang, one of the best players in the world, to be outmaneuvered and outthought before the first 10 moves, it's just fascinating. So anyway, chess is awesome.
Can't disagree with that. And I would even say that there's been a shift recently in the approach to the opening. Players, you know, they're a little bit past the Berlin phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still Berlins, and you know, you still have those theoretical battles, but now I think increasingly everyone's looking for, you know, new creative cutting edge lines as early as possible, as early as move 4 or 5 in conventional openings.
Yeah.
Which is great. Okay.
The difference between a generation that was affected by the process where machine became better than man, and they had to learn how to use computers, versus a generation that has grown up, right, with them affecting and influencing the way they evaluate and approach things from the very beginning. It's very interesting when you think about where things have gone in the last 2 decades. So, all right, here we go. G5 played. Hikaru is up a pawn, but Zhang has managed to keep some pressure. And we come back to that bishop pair, right? Evaluation. I mean, look at it. The light squared bishop is a super huge thorn in white's side on D3.
Yeah, but I think Hikaru actually made a small but significant error. He went king D1 kind of automatically.
Oh, yes, wow, bishop E3.
This makes all the difference, because this gives the king the D2 square, and if you take twice, then you get forked by the king.
It's funny. While I was continuing my rant about the light square, I didn't know why you had gone back to this position, and then I started thinking, like,
yeah, like, what's so special about this? Yeah,
wow.
There was bishop E3, and then king D2, and then white connects the rooks. Now you're absolutely right. Okay, the position has changed again, but now white's not as coordinated, and the bishop pair becomes more of a nuisance.
Yeah. Well said. Okay, well, Zhang managed to get himself a playable position and not be too worse on the clock to go with it. So this is still going to be a dogfight. Let's go check on one of the other games. What do we got here? We've got Caruana and Andrakin. Fabi continuing to play fresh chess.
Yeah, lots of mutual pins on both sides. Kind of a weird position. I can't even identify the opening right off the bat. This was a queen's gambit, but
yeah, but the isolated D4 pawn in the castle's king side looks like a weird. It looks like a weird Caro-Kann almost.
Right, or like an exchange French. It's hard to say.
Bishop back to E6. I mean, I want to take F6 and play F5 and ask questions later.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Push the pawn.
You know, speaking of asking questions later, I once had a game against Mikhail Gurovich, 1981. And he said, yeah, sir, I have a really important question to ask you after the game. And I spent the entire game, Danya, just thinking about what his question could possibly be. And I realized what a psychological advantage he had over me just from that question he posed that was never even a question. And funnily enough, Danya, after the game, I didn't even get to know what Mikhail Gurovich's question was.
That's incredible. And then Miguel Najdorf came up to me, and his wife was there, and he said, Hasser, I have the greatest thing to tell you. And he had found a novelty in his hotel room the day before with Bent Larson. He'd been analyzing the adjourned position the entire night. He was staying up all night. It was delightful. And then went to the bar to drink champagne.
You know, we made up that story. That's not even a real story. Which
No,
is
but
hard
that's the
with
most
Yasser,
fun
'cause
thing
he's
to
told-
do.
You know, Yasser has told so many stories. There's a decent probability I could just make up a story right now and that it has like 50% of it is just true. Like it actually happened to Yasser. Like,
Or that you could name like a random GM and he has a story associated, like Mikhail Gurevich.
oh man.
Yeah, they're trading pieces. In the meantime, they're moving mountains and we're exchanging fake Yasser stories.
Fake Yasser.
What does
stories.
the world come to?
Oh man, Bishop E4. You got to give Andrakin credit because, okay, but if Bishop F1, Fabi maintained the Bishop pair, so I guess there's a teeny weeny edge. Can I say that? A teeny weeny? Is that a thing?
I think I think you can say it. I don't know if it's true, but yes, I think that is an acceptable expression.
I think the edge is more than the eval bar would say from my point of view,
Agreed.
because you can take F6 and double the pawn. Although maybe I'm just being crazy. Black is already coordinated with the E file, so.
No, you're not. I think, well, white has the potential to create a passer. There's also this potential energy on the king side with G2, G4, maybe at some point coming in. But Andrakin is so good in these positions. He rarely, he rarely lets things fester. And he's very good at neutralizing, small advantages. B5, just carving out the D5 square for his knight or bishop.
What a move. And B5. Love the way you described that carving idea. It's like sometimes you just say chess commentary so well, I want to walk up on stage and smack you, get banned from the academy. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. I relate to that feeling very much.
Why don't we have a chess academy awards show? That's where some stuff would go down.
Yeah, or the chemis.
The chemis. We had the chemis.
The chemis.
Yeah, we had a little chemi action. A little chemi. I could go for a chemi after this. Sounds like a great burrito. Probably served from a place like Baja Fresh.
Right.
I'll take the chemi.
No sour cream, though.
No, hold the sour cream. All right, B5.
What about D5?
Ooh, D5.
I feel like Fabi's going to do it. I'm going to make a prediction.
So if CD, you take F6 first and then take B5 and you get the outside A pawn.
Or even take it immediately and black can't recapture. This is trouble.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
but after D5,
F6?
Black can take here. And I thought maybe you take C6. No, but this is promising. I think this is what Fabi's calculating. Black can take D1 first. And at the end of the day, you still have the two bishops and you might still have a minuscule edge. Now I want to see, he's gone G4. He wants G5. He wants to,
Bishop
hold
C2.
the thought.
You can play Rook C1 though, because if you take E1, I can even take back with the bishop and then D5. I love your D5 idea. I want it so bad.
Yeah, he's saving it for a rainy day. Wait, so what exactly does Black do? On Rook C1, I guess Rook takes C1.
No, but then Bishop takes.
Oh, and that's what you were saying. Okay.
That's what I was saying. And then, although, he takes E8, then Rook C1, I still think he wants your D5 move.
Yeah, I think he's setting up for it. He's probably briefly thinking about Rook D2 as well to keep the D4 pawn protected. But if you're going D5, you don't need to keep it protected. And he goes Rook C1.
Rook C1, I think you'll see Bishop A4 to overprotect B5 so that D5 can be met by just CD. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. I think that might actually be the best move, and he's played it.
Look at that. I'm in this weird
seat
here where I'm not even worried about the show, or I'm just like actually just analyzing chess. This feels so good to me. I feel fresh.
Is this the new Danny?
New Danny. By the way, is there an idea of D5 CD and then C5?
Ooh. Very interesting. And the thing is, the D pawn can be blockaded by the light squared bishop, whereas white's pawn can't be as effectively blockaded by the rook.
I mean, if you want to win, the problem for Fabi is the clock now. I mean, suddenly you're down to, wait, that's not an exchange I want to see.
No, now it's a draw. I think Fabi he's on 4 out of 5. He's not, for him, not risking is a lot more important.
Makes sense.
Okay, fair enough. But we're going to punish him by switching to a different game, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's do it. I agree with oily paint. That hair from Fabi is just it's
Ooh.
electric.
And Jose is about to beat Noterbeck with black.
Wow.
Jose is always hanging around. He hasn't qualified, I think, even once, but he's always, I mean, he will. There's no question.
At some point he will, yeah.
Because he's always
He might
hanging around the top.
He's the type of player we would consider for a wildcard invite. For those who don't remember, the format is 12 players will qualify via the entire 25-week Rapid Chess Championship. It's every weekend from now until Kingdom Come. But there are 4 spots available for wildcard invitation, which basically is like Danny rolls up one morning on Slack and just like, hey guys, who should we invite? And then we have a fun discussion. And I, there's not a lot of science to it.
Well, there's not a lot of science. There is a lot of science the way that black is converting this endgame.
Look at this. Rook b5, guard the checks.
Then you give a lateral check on e2. The thing about the rook on c5 is that it allows black to meet rook e2 with rook c2, but he doesn't need to. Now the rook defends g5 and supports the passer.
Nice. Rook a2, a3. The rook is stuck.
The king is close enough to white's pawn to where no rook sacrifices for the pawn are ever even remotely, have a chance of working.
Really nice technique, actually. Just the pivot to get your rook behind the pawn appropriately for Jospin.
Okay, that was unnecessary, but you can go straight to c3. He might be worried about rook takes c3, but the king is close enough with room to spare.
One of the things I literally have had nightmares about are endgames king and rook versus king and pawn, and you're trying to figure out how to stop the pawn. Nothing gives me more anxiety.
I know that they're the worst. Some of the hardest, and the maneuver you have to move your rook to one particular square, and then Dvoretsky says it's easy. Nothing exposes
counterintuitive geometry like those endgames where you have to bring the king around. I'm literally getting heart palpitations just thinking about it.
Yeah, and it's impossible. There's no theme or concepts. It's just every position, the geometry is totally different. Okay, this is over.
It's obvious. It's winning, but you have to leave. Yeah, the key tip I can say, at least one takeaway for the viewers, is the king should always come. Every time you think you should get the rook in a better spot, you're wrong. The king is the priority.
Yes.
And so king d5, even king d6, king e7. These are all the moves you want to play. Don't even worry about the rook. Yeah. That's the one thing I've learned is how many times I blew these endgames, Danya, by moving the rook to what I thought was a better square, and that one tempo turns it to a draw.
Well, people get really scared of the passed pawn, so they tend to go rook a8 really quickly. Yeah. And let me cover the promotion square, but that's unnecessary. You can always cover the promotion square at the end. And Noterbeck plays till mate. Big win for Jose. I think Hikaru made a draw, I want to say.
Hikaru's still playing, I think, is he?
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Is he still playing? No, he won.
He beat Jeffrey.
How did he win that? Oh, my God. I thought it was a draw. Oh, but I mean, what? Okay.
It's obfuscate bishops. It should be a draw.
Knight c5 and king e6. Offer draw. What is it? Whoa.
Oh, f5. F5 was not a good idea.
This is just offer draw because white has no way to make progress here. Oh my gosh, Jeffrey panicked.
He played f5 and then he just blundered a 6 at the end of the line.
And now it's completely winning because white has 2 passers on either side.
Yep. Split the board. Wow. I mean, again, Hikaru puts his opponents in those spots, so it's super tough. But yeah, Jeffrey even had the time there. That's a little surprising. All right.
Hikaru with another win.
Let's go check out Anish Giri. I haven't had enough time to troll him today.
Let's do it.
Just to, let's get all of our Giri jokes in as quickly as we can here. Pawns that only a Giri could love. Huh? No? Okay.
I'm just not going to say. I'm pleading. I'm not saying anything. Now, wait a minute. I thought Anish could have gone f5 there to preserve one of his f-pawns. Now, David's going to take f3, and it should be a draw. We're going to get another one of these, potentially. Rook versus 2 pawns. Will he try to flag him?
Okay. Oh, yeah, he's up 30 seconds on the clock. Didn't see that.
Uh-oh. And now king c6 and rook b5,
yeah, rook b5 is the threat.
No, but black pushes f4.
Whoa, why not king c6?
King
oh, what a blunder.
What's happening?
He pinned your own pawn. He pinned his own pawn.
Yeah, he did. But now here comes the h pawn.
He's threatening rook b6.
Rook b6. Oh, he tricked me.
Draw.
And now it's a draw. Pawn is way too far.
It's so funny. We just talked about having
No, but
anxiety in
flag.
these endgames, and we get 2 of them back. Wait, go for the flag. Go for the flag.
No, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. But he has to try. He's got 3 out of 5, Danny. I think he's got to take the risk. Rook A7. He has nothing to lose. You can't
Rook
really
A7
lose
and then
this.
check. Like
yeah, but David, no.
Okay.
Nah, lame.
Wow.
Boo.
Okay.
Guess who's still playing? This is unbelievable.
Every time, although right as we get there, the game ends.
Rasmus Ariantari. Oh, mate.
Whoa.
Mate, he missed mate.
He missed a mate on A6.
Oh, but he's going to win by flagging.
Okay, he's still going to win, but that was we had mate on A6. Wait.
Move! Oh my God!
What are you doing? Move!
Oh my God!
He lost. He didn't even draw. He lost. Oh my God!
Mate on A6. Oh my God!
Queen A6 was made.
He had like 8 hours to 1 second.
Dude, what happened? Did he disconnect or something? Like
probably. Oh my God!
I'm gonna back up in that final move.
Please do.
The final.
He had 2 seconds to make just 1 king move.
Okay, so he just checks him. I mean, he's totally winning. But
first of all, he's got made in like 18 different ways.
Yeah, like this position, he had 2 seconds. And there were no disconnection issues. He's got 4 bars, right? Hey, can you hear me now? Good. Got good cell service here. What is going on?
And Aryan is fast too. I've never seen him do something like that. Maybe Magnus Carlsen walked into the room or something.
You know what? Probably just to so we do enough of this commentary, Donya. I think there's a decent chance this sort of random observation could be right. I think he had pre-moved something like queen in, right?
Yes.
He had pre-moved it. So then your opponent plays a move that breaks your pre-move. And combine that with basically just a little bit of mouse fumbling, and all of a sudden you've lost it, right? And I think that was probably what happened.
And I think people who don't time scramble a lot, they don't realize sometimes how fast 2.4 seconds goes by.
Yeah.
It's not like you said, first you pre-move queen d6, it doesn't work. 1 second. You've got 1.0. Then you grab your king, you fumble. Yep. Or you try to make a distant move and you can't play it. Oh, yeah. It happens so fast. Yeah. Hikaru already made a draw. Oh my God! In the time that we have been discussing that,
who did he draw?
Okay, I will tell you in a second, and then it's time for the contest. He drew Jose. Okay. I think it's another Berlin.
Queens are on D4 and D6. Nailed it.
Wow, Danny Rensch with a call.
Nailed it. Oh,
incredible. Man.
All right. Well, let's move on to another fun one. We've got Fabiano still playing.
Fabiano. Caruana.
Taking on Grigori Oporin.
Okay, we have a Rui Lopez with the early D3 system. That's a very prominent sideline. And I like the system that Fabi has played with the kingside fianchetto. It's sort of the most ambitious way to meet the D3 system for black. Okay, let's get on D4. Well, I mean, I just thought.
Yeah, this is also stuff that Fabi also just knows really well too, though. I mean, D4 is usually a little premature here.
Yeah,
but
I studied the Rui Lopez quite extensively, and well, I just thought that after ED and Bishop G4, I thought black is totally winning, and I just thought I'm winning. That was very good. That's not that bad, I think. Fabi's a very hard one to imitate, but there's a little bit of a accent. Like Nepo and Fabi, I get confused. I know it's really weird, but I get random impressions confused because sometimes they have some similar sounds. It's hard to describe.
Do you have an Anish?
No, for the life of me. I mean, I'll practice, but I cannot get Anish and I cannot get Magnus, and it drives me crazy.
You know who has a great one is Levy does a great Anish, actually.
I need to take some lessons from him.
Yeah. Okay, A5 is played. The tension is real. It's chessual. You can cut the chessual tension with a knife on D4 and E5 in these Lopez. Bishop D3. I guess rook B8, or do you just play B4? Oh, or a move that Danny didn't even suggest. Good job,
Queen
Dan.
B8. I've seen that before in these positions, preparing B4 and keeping the rook on A8 in case the A file opens up. In case the A file opens up.
And you can kind of slow jam the position with Queen B7 next, or like, okay, if Queen E2 comes, are you playing B4?
If Queen E2 comes, are you playing B4? That's a good question. Well, you don't. There's a tactic where Bishop takes B5 is sometimes met with Knight takes D4.
Yeah.
But I think the answer is yes. I mean, I don't know what Black would be waiting for.
Okay.
I don't know these positions. These positions are very amorphous. It's like hard to wrap your head around what the plans are for both sides. We talked about this earlier in an Italian position. I think it's kind of similar to that. Fabi likes these positions, by the way.
Yeah, he loves them. And again, I think there's all kinds of subtle things that just come with a ton of experience. But A5, A5 is now opened up for the knight.
It's funny how Queen B8 prepared both B4 and A4.
Yeah.
And he's decided to go A4.
I feel like Fabi gets these positions and just gets a creeping edge. And we looked at a lot of positions. Okay, not some of them got more forcing, but when he was here in studio during the World Championship, his quick understanding of just the little details is second to none, I think, in these positions.
No, his level of comprehension is absurd, honestly. You just don't want to get a Ruy Lopez against him.
You just notice the
either
email
color.
bar, dude, it just like slowly creeps in his direction. He just like slowly gets a better position.
Bit by bit, controls another square, gets a knight to B3, pawn to C5. He takes away the center, and then he's all of a sudden you're lost. And this happened with Jasmine. And this is exactly what happened in his game against Jose.
Yep.
And Oparan is struggling here. So we can keep an eye on this one. On board 2, we had Andraken against Aronian. I wasn't even able to click on that game. I think it ended in a draw.
Okay. One already. Another quick result. If you're just tuning into this round, Hikaru also already drew his game against Jasmine very quickly. Levon is still playing?
I'm checking. No, he drew. I was right.
Yeah, okay.
He drew Andraken.
Andraken, yeah. Okay, the big fish is taking on Anish Giri, as you can see here. This is a fun one. A Trumpowski attack, right? Trumpowski attack, you said earlier that it used to be aggressive players played E4, positional players played D4. Now D4 players play all kinds of aggressive Queen's Gambits. But the original dubious way to play aggressive as a D4 player was the Trump. I played it.
No, it's actually a very underrated opening.
Yeah.
In my opinion. It's like the Austin, okay, well, Austin's well known now, but like it's like the Charlotte of chess openings, It's like underrated and still unexplored, and it's, you can afford real estate and stuff.
Lots of great opportunities for real estate investment. The downtown is surprisingly hip, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The surprising amount of restaurants, the Trumpowski is like, it's not easy to equalize with Black. And in the main line against 94, White has a lot of different choices. There's the H4 line that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And anyways, we were not paid by the Trumpowski Association to say this.
Nor are we paid by the city of Charlotte to promote its surprisingly progressive and hip nightlife.
That's right.
Head to Charlotte today. Take your next vacation.
Right. No, don't send anybody my way, or else we'll be at the door of the chess center.
The endgame is evolving into one where White will be comfortably pushing for an edge. For those who don't know, Anish and Fedoseev actually grew up in the same town, same hometown. Fun fact that
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were childhood kind of rivals. Before Anish's family moved to the Netherlands.
Wow. He really
Fun fact.
shifted it into third gear there with his last move.
I got a lot of like human interest story facts for you. I mean, just name a player and I'll tell you so. Like, for example, Dubov loves kittens. Don't know why. Just got like 12 kittens in his house.
That's adorable.
That's actually a fact I just made up. But can't you see
Okay, Levon.
cuddling up with some kitty cats?
I can totally see it. What about Lavon Aronian?
Is that a pawn that just hung? Or are you happy to see me? I think the pawn is gone.
Did I just get stood up? Am I to understand that you don't have any facts about Lavon Aronian to share? I see what you did there. You said that you could name a fact about any player and then just sort of disappeared into the wilderness.
Yeah.
Just like that A2 pawn that he's just captured.
An A2 pawn just gone. Bobby Fischered it, right? Disappeared.
Yeah, except there's no B3. So this looks like just the Evo bar is showing a slight edge for white. The thing is that if black can get a blockade going on D5. Oh, but don't go knight B6. Ooh,
Bishop
look at that
takes
trap.
H7. Dirty dog.
The knight's no longer defending the rook.
Yeah, that's tricky because you don't really want to play knight F6. G5 follows anyway.
And you're in trouble again. Where do you even go?
What is it, rook E8 or something? What's the move?
I guess it is. It is rook E8. Nicely noted.
Yeah, rook E8 is a way to play your best defense is a good offense there if you're black. Because any other move, bishop takes H7 was winning. So
right. So if you don't go knight F6, you don't go knight B6. Do you go rook F7? Do you go rook D8? Probably rook D8.
Good. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, and you know what else is really good here? The move D4, D5.
Oh, because you bishop E6 check coming.
Yes, and you can't take. We already know why. Because trade and then bishop H7.
Right.
And all of a sudden, look at how white is converging.
You just lose to bishop E6.
And he Boris Spassky'd the bishop.
Dude. It turns out it wasn't an unnecessary Bobby Fischer reference. D5 is on the board. He played it.
Uh-oh. And now all of a sudden Anish has his back against the wall. You can see the eval bar reflecting how dangerous this position has become.
It's like now you have to play G6, allow bishop E6 check, king E7, but white is pushing.
And rook A1, does that trap the bishop? Oh my God, are you serious?
If you get rook A3 and trap the bishop, I'm gonna lose my bleep. I'm losing my bleep.
Knight. That's
oh my God, what a move!
That knight is dominating
the bishop.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Sometimes usually you just want to walk
other way
out,
around.
You know?
It's one of those situations where the bishop dominates the knight. If there were no rooks on the board, I would say the exact opposite. But because of the other pieces, the knight is controlling the critical squares.
But dude, how does he stop it? Okay, he played rook E8. Is he going to sack the exchange on E6? Maybe
no, his idea is bishop takes D5 of rook A1. Look at that. No, but I would... yeah, knight D5, rook E6. No, this is a draw.
Oh, wow, that is fantastical.
What about G5 first?
I think G5 first makes sense. Put the pony on the edge.
God, this is such an interesting endgame. And it doesn't look interesting, but then you analyze it. It's like, wow.
No, and this rook A1 thing is fascinating. And bishop takes D5 as a resourceful defense is equally as such.
How many ideas in the span of like 3 moves? Okay, Fedoseev is thinking. He's got 3.5 minutes. He needs to keep an eye on the clock.
If you play G5 and then just rook F7, you're preventing, assuming G5, knight H5, rook F7, there's no D5 tactics because you're back ranked in the end. Unless he's going to play knight G8. Is he playing knight G8 on G5?
Ooh. Yeah, but then there's a smothered mate, maybe knight F5. Knight G6, knight.
Knight mates.
Oh, that's the best move, apparently.
Yeah, knight D6 is actually very hard to stop.
Yeah, and we're not even going to talk about rook D8.
Dude, what a position!
Fedoseev wins this game. This will be amazing.
But he's losing his edge on the clock. It's something where he senses that it's a critical moment, which is important. You have to have that intuition, so using the time can't be criticized. But if he doesn't convert, the time scramble will favor black for sure.
And at some point, it will be a moot point if he finds the right move. And that moment will come at about 30 to 45 seconds. So I think he has to move before he has less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
he's not moving.
G5 feels good. What's
Is he pulling an
thinking
Aronian
about?
Tari?
What?
Is he pulling an Aronian Tari?
I thought you were saying Anish looks like Aronian Tari. In that pose, he could pass for an Aronian Tari. Like a poor
No, I
man's
mean, like
Aronian Tari.
I could see that, kind of.
Aronian and Anish could be, you know,
Cousins.
they could doppelganger each other. Is it okay to say you can doppelganger someone? Is that?
Yeah, but this conversation's going nowhere.
I
think
feel
we
like I'm
change
on
the
the edge of getting
subject.
canceled half the time in my life. with things like that.
Well, amen.
All right, H4 played. There is no sacrifice on D5, so the bishop on A2's struggles continue. What? The E3's not hanging?
Whoa!
Because the
Wait,
F8
it is. There's mate, and the king gets canceled.
king gets canceled.
That's so funny.
D6 and D7 is coming actually.
Okay, so make some luft.
Okay, then the knight might even head to F6 and forget the D5 pawn. There's such weird mating nets going on.
So the move H4, if everyone just real fast, apparently, oh my God, bishop F7 was the best move, and rook C1? No way.
What?
What is this? This is black magic, and white maintains the advantage. That was the best move, Danny.
I don't
It
even
was
like.
it was bishop
I don't even
E6
like
to
best
F7. Okay,
I don't
I'm
even
done.
like best moves anymore because of
This
that.
game is ridiculous. Okay, so what's happening now? Who's playing
Okay,
for a
here
win?
comes D6. The bishop is finally free. You can come back to E6, and maybe that's what you should do.
Then
Although
takes a
look, if
knight
bishop E6
F5.
takes, rook takes, knight D5. If you take D6, knight E7, check a
Oh, more back rank shenanigans.
Wow.
And there's
This
forks everywhere there. Anisha's getting nervous.
Here comes the knight to E7. Oh, now you go to H6. Right?
And then the king comes to G7.
Oh. Is this what is happening in the game, by the way, or is this your
Yes,
analysis?
yes.
Oh.
No. This is happening. D7.
Okay. This is real-time action here.
Knight D7 is rook D3. I
Wait,
don't know.
what?
Rook C3. He wants to provoke B6 so he gets the C6 square for his knight potentially to dislodge the rook.
The D6 pawn is falling now. Like,
Yeah, but you're going to go
D6?
D7. D7. And knight D7, I have rook D3. Hitting you.
Yeah, taste the soup. Where's the spoon? Sorry.
Whoa, he got B6,
Oh, he
and that was a blunder, but not because takes. He could have
Could he have taken a D7?
Oh,
With knight
I'm
C6
done.
to follow.
See, there's no stopping it. The knight is dominating the bishop again. It's covering D5.
Dude, this is a lesson in knights dominating bishops, and I love it. I didn't even
We
sign
got to
up
make a
for this
video.
stuff.
We got to make some video out of this endgame alone.
Yeah, seriously.
And now it's going to be a draw after knight F8.
Yeah,
Finally, the pawn
B6
is going to fall.
Traded for B6 is traded for D7, and Bob goes your uncle, right? Equality across the board. Nietzsche.
Yeah, but even rook takes D7 and king F7.
Okay. Just as good. Wow, what a move he had there. Rook C5 and D7.
Wow.
By the way, we're doing commentary tomorrow together too, right? You're in for Sunday?
Yes, sir.
Man, this is gonna be a great weekend. Don't tell my wife and kids, but I'm super happy I'm spending it with you.
This is the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me. I might get emotional here, so be careful. Now, Fedoseev is losing. What did he just do? Whoa, I zoned out for a second. He's lost those pawns. Now Giri's lost his pawns. Oh my God, this is next level stuff. Now it looks like a draw.
Yeah,
But somebody's going to lose.
draw.
I guarantee somebody's going to blunder something here.
Yeah,
These games
no,
never
this-
end peacefully.
This just feels like a game where we're gonna fall out of our chairs. Like there's just
Something is
gonna
about
happen
to
here.
go down. Let's stay on this game if you don't mind. Although Fabi
Yeah,
is also
I'm with
still
it.
playing.
I'm with it, man. I'm emotionally invested now. We talked about we made Trumpowski comparisons to the city of Charlotte. I mean, I
I
don't
know
wanna go
what
anywhere.
happened. Fabi has drawn, by the way. He drew a pretty uneventfully there, so we didn't really miss anything.
Okay.
He drew a paren. Please don't repeat.
Don't repeat.
There we
guys.
go.
There you
He's going to go for the flag.
There you go. Anish, you have to flag. It's now or never.
Somebody is going to blunder a rook to a knight 4.
How about you just like, somebody is going to blunder a
Rook B1, no, rook E1. Oh my God.
Oh,
rook E1, he's got rook E1.
It doesn't win because it's rook E1. If king F2.
Oh my God, sorry, but you see why I freaked out.
Yeah, no, I dig it. Okay, here comes rook.
Don't go rook F5.
Or rook E5.
Knight D6 is a nice move here.
Wait, gotta play king E7. Okay.
Fedoseev offered to draw and Anish declined it, by the way, for the record.
Yeah. Anish wants more. He wants the whole thing. He's Bob Barker.
I would
rook E5
rook
first.
E5. Ooh.
Oh, rook ending. No.
This is an easy flag. Easy flag.
Easy flag?
24 seconds. It's flaggable.
Okay.
His efforts are unflagging. But I don't know. A rook B1 is the flagger's move. You got to check from the back
now you
to
can
pull the king
now
away.
He's going to flag him. Now I agree.
And now he's going to go G5 in like 5 years, and then G4 in another 10 years.
Yep.
Oh, rook D4, rook C5, rook A5, rook B4.
That's how you play tickle right there.
That's how it ends.
Oh man, I lost it.
Oh my God, there was no chances anyway. But oh my lands, and he had that win with rook takes knight.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
That could have been qualification right there. That was a huge game.
All right, well, where do we sit on the standings here? Oh wait, no, we
look
got
at this game.
Daniil
What
Dubov
is happening here?
Dude, what a wild position to only have 10 seconds.
Knight C5. Oh, is he going to make another queen?
He gets another queen.
96. Oh, he wins the knight.
Oh, it's it. He's got it. 7 seconds.
He's got it in the bag. But there's stalemate ideas with king H4.
Oh, I love that.
Queen
Play
F6.
Queen F3, Queen C3, king H4. Okay, no.
The problem is it's still not stalemate. There's
it's a G5 square.
Last game of the round.
Whoa. Demchenko breaks through right as we join. But speaking of, he has bishop.
Oh,
whoa.
Oh.
What a nice little finish there.
Okay, breathe.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, but can Demchenko win this without stalemating? Get the bishop away from there. He's playing very slowly.
There you go. That's how you do it. Get the bishop out of here.
Oh, look at the pre-moving. Oh, no,
Come 1 second, though. Come on, move.
Oh, white flags. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. If she had played king F1, there's a pretty good chance, I think, that he either loses on time or stalemates.
Yeah, I mean, queen G3 you could absolutely play. The ability of players to pre-move a stalemating move is uncanny, including my own, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, well, where do we sit on the standings? If we get the full view, we've got Hikaru on 6 of 7, Favi and a couple others sitting on 5 of 7. And then we get a who's list of super GMs at 4.5 out of 7. So Anish is not, I mean, this is where, for me, the fun part of the event now focuses on the guys that are on the bubble, right? We've got 3 more rounds, right?
We have got 2 more rounds.
2 more rounds, sorry.
Because it's a 9-round tournament. There's 8 rounds, 8 and 9. I believe that's 2.
Yeah, sorry, my math was a little bit off there. You know me. I'm not a good math guy.
No,
I didn't go to the school for kids who math good.
I didn't either.
What are you talking about? You went to Stanford, okay?
And I majored in history.
Okay, I
didn't spend much time in the math building.
Whatever. Okay.
Oh,
Hikaru and Anish, what a matchup. This is what we.
Whoa,
oh,
Knight 64. Whoa!
Don't give me the Berlin. Don't give it. Don't you do this to me.
6 again. Wow.
Don't do it to me now.
Incredible play. How did Geary?
You took the sarcastic approach. You took the sarcastic approach. I took the just completely frustrated.
You took the I'm done with this approach.
I'm done with this.
At least have a different repetition. Just like rotate through 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
Caruana also drew.
Already?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good draw for Anish, though, because Anish is on the bubble.
I agree. I mean, this is a different game, by the way. Wesley drew Wesley.
This is the same position, different game.
This is a plague.
Someone needs to put together like a montage across all the chess sites and platforms. Like take the best moments from the Champions Chess Tour frustration to the Rapid Jam and just put together the compilation of frustrated commentator moments of that position on the board. Like
that would actually be a very popular. That video would go viral.
If someone did that for YouTube, that would be popular. All right.
Oh God, I'm not commentating this position. Sorry,
love it.
We're just moving on.
Let's go. There we go. Okay, wait. At least there's a couple of guys on the bubble. We could probably learn something from the hanging pawn structure. What the bleep? Let's learn something, huh?
Let's learn. So let's do some learning. I'm going to take a sip of coffee.
Kids.
Is that coffee or is that just? Is that? I feel like that's an Danny Rensch, the kind of guy that would be an empty cup.
That would be. I'm not a Jimmy Fallon. No, I've been filling it up with water. It was originally coffee. When I took my picture for Twitter and Insta, I did what the cool kids do.
Water
this morning. What?
It's water with a little bit of coffee. Ugh.
Yeah, there's a little bit of coffee hangover, a little flavor.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I brought the World Chess Championship heat today.
Although, do you want to hear what I did like 3 days ago when I was zombieing my way to the coffee maker before commentary?
Yeah.
I pressed the start brewing button and I didn't put the carafe underneath.
Oh no.
I've actually done that like 3 or 4 times. I don't know if anybody else has ever I forget to put the carafe underneath the coffee maker.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you brought up this conversation because it allows me to confront you. You're not really drinking high quality coffee until you're doing pour over. You know, get yourself. I'm going to get you a December dripper for Christmas. I'm going to order.
No, I have a grind. I grind. I grind it myself.
How hard do you grind?
I knew you would. I knew I couldn't say that and then get away with it. So I was debating whether to say it. Danny would not let that go. I do fine grind.
Sorry.
Finely ground. You're driving me into the ground.
I have too much of a good time.
Oh my God. He's gone. I actually prefer that view though. I like the wall view with like 10% of Danny's back.
The chess.com Chemex kit recommended by my producer behind the scenes here. I'm sorry. I don't know why I lost it on that. I just did. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
That was pretty funny. I mean, okay. I can understand that.
Anyway, I also grind my own beans, and it leads to I get a Blue Bottle subscription. This show is not brought to you by Blue Bottle, though. If they do want to sponsor our shows, I'd be happy about it. I already use their Blue Bottle. They send you every month. They pick a different thing. They send you like a card that tells you where it's from, and it's so great subscription. So there you
go. Do you grind anything other than okay. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
In the meantime,
this end game is about to be grindable with the D5 pawn for white. If you can get the major pieces off the board and not allow the structure to change, you've got something. Although then eight pawns weak.
This is only a conversation that can happen between 2 chess commentators.
Yep.
Whoa. Bishop F5. That's a cute move, but I'm not sure it solves Black's problems because Rook B4, Rook C1, Rook D4.
Oh yeah, the D5 pawn's still weak in the end. Although, again, you get Rook C2, so we're probably just trading pawns.
Draw vibes. Even Bishop G4, for instance, get the Rook away from the D file, and then Black's got too much activity to lose this game. What now?
I'm just laughing at. I don't know what I'm laughing about. I don't know anymore. Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's see if White grinds this one out.
Yeah.
You can see Vidit there on the grind.
We're on the grind.
He's on the grind. Look at that concentration. He's grinding his teeth.
Vidit. He is concentrated. He has a YouTube, but he's not streaming today. Sometimes he plays in streams. It is crazy that Hikaru, by the way, is not just the chess, but it's the streaming too, you know, because no one else here is streaming. But I think he plays better when he's streaming. So
yeah, sometimes it helps hold players accountable.
Yeah.
Right. You're forced to explain your moves, and it prevents a certain degree of laziness that can come when you're just like only accountable to yourself, and you just I'm just gonna play this move. You can't really do that when you're streaming. I think it helps Hikaru too.
Yeah. It's funny because I think if an event is too long, if it crosses a certain line, it can become a disadvantage the other way. But I think what you said is totally true. You've seen it with, especially with a guy like Hikaru. You see people play really, really high quality chess while adding just a little bit of commentary. And then you see some people lowering their level of chess while they do commentary. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, which will go unmentioned. Now, Levon, 4 out of 7, Danny. They basically have to win both of their games.
Yeah.
Although
Levon
5.5
has to win this game.
Yeah, no question about it. He'll be black in the next one. Now, last week, 5.5 qualified 3 people out of like 6 who had 5.5. So generally, I would say 5.5 is between 1 and 3 people qualify. 6 almost guarantees it.
Okay. Yeah. We've got 6.5, 5.5. So Fabi, Andraken, and Jospim are all going to be in.
Yeah.
So 1 through 4, I think, is going to be pretty set, but 5 through 8 still totally up for grabs.
Yeah, we're going to see a bunch of quick draws in the last round, and for people like Wesley, I feel like they have to play for a win in the last round to really try to clinch it, because the tiebreakers might not favor them.
Right.
Okay, speaking of clinching, no, not speaking of, that was a very poor transition, but I think Sebian is actually better here. He's got Aronian's pawns on the queen side are weak. Levon has a good knight on e5, but it's currently nicely contained by the bishop.
There's no tactic. It looks like a position where there's tactics coming, but the bishop on f5 is really irritating. The b3
Yeah, I'd throw an h4.
Oh, h4, h5. There you go. And he does it. The prophet lives.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Queen.
h4, h5.
I'm going to consult my crystal ball. He will play the
Rook a to d1.
Queen c3.
Nope. Queen c3.
Okay, he said that after he played
Queen c3 is not. I don't know if it's a great move. You self-pin the knight on e5.
I think Levon is frustrated. He's. You can sense the frustration in his play right now.
Yeah. This is super awkward, though. I don't know what was the win there for black.
It wasn't a win. It was f6, e5 plus 5. Sorry. f6 and e5. This position is plus 5. You know why? Because black's about to play bishop h6 and rook d3 and queen b3 and blow you off the board.
That is insane. That is insane that a position with 2 pawn moves goes from equal to plus 5 for black with those threats.
Plus 6. And it's true. I believe it, because your position is just collapsing and there's no stopping it. And I think Sam just didn't fully appreciate how winning he was there. He's still much better, and he should still be able to win this game, I think.
Yeah, but it's a funny thing. It's hard to consider f6 and e5 when you don't want to overextend your structure sort of intuitively. But he definitely missed his chance to. I mean, if that white knight now comes to c4 and then d6 or b6, look out, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's the problem when you're facing a knight, is things can turn around in an instant if the knight finds an outpost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, f6 and e5. What a line that was. But seriously, that's so like hard to hold against Sam. But it was there.
I don't like e6. I think e6 is a really strange move because it creates tons of dark square holes.
Yeah.
And what was the rush? Like, white's not threatening to move the knight back and attack the pawn, you know?
Yep.
And he blocked his own bishop. I feel like it was very careless. And now Levon is back in the game. He's worse, but now it's a game. And it's an end game.
It's an end game. And Levon likes that. He can still put the bishop. Ooh, watch out for bishop d2.
Yeah, but you can play rook c4, for instance, or rook e4 maybe.
You can even play bishop e5. I was going to say bishop e5 here, because if you take f3, you can take it with the rook.
And bishop d2, you can play rook e4. You don't have to give up a single pawn here. I get the creeping sensation that Levon is not only going to make a draw here, but he's going to actually be playing for a win pretty soon.
Bishop G7 is a smart move if you feel the threat is disappearing, I guess. Although it's not a move that Levon's happy about. He's like, no, think that you're better. You want this guy to continue to push so you have winning chances.
Correct. Bishop C3, Rook D5. No, I maybe was a little over optimistic. When black controls, I always say this: when there's only one open file and you control it, the danger is limited. No, almost no matter what else is happening, to some extent.
Yep. Let's see. Other games in the books. Grigori and Vidit are still playing. Both. I mean, Vidit and Noterbeck are playing each other, but Grigori is also within striking distance in his game. Vidit is a little better here, but is it really an advantage you can convert with the extra pawn? I guess so. Actually, I think this is a bigger advantage than the eval bar would make you believe.
Vidit's a great chess last name for a Russian speaker, because Vidit means he sees, or she sees.
What?
It's a conjugation of the verb to see. So he sees or she sees in the present tense. So he sees everything would be on всё видит.
I love that.
Right. So there's some puns to be made there.
I mean, I don't want you to feel deprived. Do you want to have the floor to make some puns, buddy?
No, I've already made them.
Okay. I want to make sure we don't deprive you the chance to get your full pun on.
You never deprive me of the chance to get my full puns in. I mean, I've made them and I haven't been fired yet, so
no.
That in and of itself is sufficiently positive reinforcement.
Okay, knight b6.
Wait, white is up a pawn, I just realized, and completely winning.
White's up the e pawn. That's kind of what I was saying, but it's hard to.
Yeah, you literally just said that like 5 times. I was thinking about puns.
You were in your own wonderful world. Okay, this is a big game to decide who will be moving on to Sunday. Reminder, everybody, tomorrow we got the 8-player KO. Danya and I will be here. There'll be some high-level chess commentary. There'll also be some high-level punnery. The punanigans.
I'll be on my game tomorrow, I promise.
Yeah. Puntown, population Danya, mañana. Bishop d3. You got to give Noterbeck some credit for just making the optics super hard here. The bishop and knight are kind of artificially keeping the king closed, holding the light and dark squares together. There's no clear way for white to attack the a5 pawn. You'd like to put your knight on c6, but that's not legal.
And apparently Vidit's last move was not ideal. I personally, I don't understand why he's not just bringing his king to c1, because the problem is anytime black goes knight c3, he gets forked.
Yep.
And if you go to a3, well, then you give the king, space in the center, and white can continue making progress, maybe drop the knight back to f4.
No,
this has to be winning. Okay, so he's gone, king d1, bishop b5. Is there a way to trap the knight here?
How would you do it? The knight's coming to, okay.
$1 million question.
Wait, king c2, knight a3, king b2?
Oh, yeah. I forgot that king c2 was legal. I was only, king c1, but then knight c3, obviously.
I think king c2 traps the knight. You asked the question and made me think about it.
No, but he's thinking, and I'm afraid he won't see it, but he vid it. Will he vided it?
Will he vided it?
Or will he vid it? Right, will he vid it?
Hey, he vid it.
To vid.
Hey. He vid it. He did it. He did it.
He vid it.
Hey, Vidit did it.
Vidit did it.
We are the biggest dorks on the planet, and I love it.
We really are.
King c2, he vid it. The knight.
Why did play a4? But yeah,
but seriously, he's winning the knight. It's over.
Yeah, he is. It's over. He's going to resign, and a huge win for Vidit.
Pushes or punches his ticket to Sunday. Look at that, bishop g8, and if king f8, just bishop back to d5.
Cold-blooded. Look at that, and the knight defends the bishop, which defends the square, which traps the knight, which wins the game.
Brush your shoulder off, Vidit. You did it. You vid it. You vid it.
What a Vidit.
All right. It's over. Noterbeck, did No, he didn't resign yet. What other
We need
games
to
are
show
wrong?
Vidit this clip, and he will lose his his mind. Oh, what did I say about Aronian playing for a win? By the way,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
I
you
wrong? Was
did.
I wrong?
No, you weren't. You called it. You got okay, but C5, Queen D3 check, F3, Queen G6. There's a draw on the long diagonal there.
What about Queen C5?
Okay,
So that I can cover a check on G5 potentially with a queen.
I like that. Queen C5. If Queen D3, are you playing F3 right away?
Veni Vidit Vici. Somebody in the
I
chat.
love that too. Oh man, so many opportunities to go down the Vidit. Let's just say that as long as we Vidit together. F3 now. By the way, he played your Queen C5. F3,
Yeah.
Queen G6, Queen G5. Ooh,
But he steps back. But I don't like this because of Queen F3. I feel like you're yielding. But then Queen E3.
Queen.
No, that was bad. Why was that bad? Because of F5? No, because of Queen D4. Now he's ready to push. Oh,
And then
look at
Queen
the
F6.
domination. Look
Look
at
at
the
that.
domination.
Look at the workmanship from the Queen.
The legwork.
Putting in the time, right? That's how you
He's
do
going
it.
to win. He's going
Yeah,
to
if you
win
play
that
King
endgame.
G8, by the way, if you play King G8, Queen G5, and the
Whoop.
ladies come off, it's over.
That's
So the only move
unreal.
is Queen G8, but now C5, and everybody falls.
You can also play Queen G5 if you want the sort of old school approach, which he does.
course.
Take the pawn and push.
Yeah. He does it. Going to check his way to victory, and that might actually save his tournament day, seriously, and give Levon a chance to still be playing tomorrow.
If he wins the next one, especially. Now, it's not over yet. I would caution against shoveling dirt on Sam just yet, because these end games are tricky until the last
Yeah.
drop
No,
of
there's
blood is
always
spilled.
a chance for a draw with the queens on the board.
And Levon, you know what I actually don't like? His decision to go after the
Oh, no! He repeated the position 3 times.
Oh, he has his hand. Oh my! And that's what always happens in these end games. You just lose track of which positions you've already had and where the queen's
my
at. You had to give a
gosh,
check on
bro.
H5 and bring it to G4, maybe at least. Oh my God!
I was shocked. It started back here on the first Queen D4. Yep, on move 67. Sure enough. I mean, now that the server would never get it
This
wrong. that's
doesn't
one
lie.
advantage
Server
of
don't
playing-
lie.
Yeah, that's one advantage of playing online is, but that is just
No, but let me rewind for a second, Danny. Just go C5. You don't need this pawn. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yep.
Just push.
wow.
He started dilly-dallying and checking around, and he just
Yep.
couldn't find the right spot for his queen. Kudos to Sevian, who gives himself a chance of the win next round, although it's very unlikely because the tiebreaks are probably not great.
Grishik won his game versus Opar and Grigori, so he also still has chances. Daniil Dubov and Niels Grandelius are rolling along with Bortnik and Dropstone. Who is Dropstone, by the way? I don't know that username.
Parabian.
Ah, okay.
Okay, this should be a draw, but Bortnik is one of the fastest people on the planet, but even he.
But he's got 12
Shouldn't.
seconds. I mean, if I'm white,
got a
I'm playing
knight.
for a win here. I mean, sorry, if I'm black.
What? I mean, I'm not
It's just
stopping you,
one-
but
It's funny how one word can change the meaning of everything.
dream big. Just the only thing is not to miss a fork here if you're David. He's just going to win this on the board, I think. On the
Yeah, but
board.
he wants to get away from the repetition.
Yeah, I mean, if
just
Levon
learned that
Aronian's
one the
probably
hard
watching
way.
this game. Okay. It's over.
Dude, when you raise your voice like that, you scare me.
Well, it was very close to repetition. Okay, it's a draw. It's a draw. What is it? What am I saying?
What are you saying? No, black's
It's a win.
win.
But you started it. You were saying white's playing for a win.
The madness. There's like a highlight reel of us just losing our minds in this particular. I don't know what it is today. It's the it's the Hess Championship juice.
Yeah, whatever's in that mug. And baby, you put it in my mug.
Yep. Okay, well, as far as standings go, like you predicted, we've got likely some quick draws coming for those atop the leaderboard. Let's take a full view, drink it in. If it went down this way, the top 8 would be That'd be quite the field tomorrow. So Geary, Vidit, Grishuk, wow. But Levon doesn't want to give up, right? He's got to get the dub this round.
Yeah, I think it's quite simple. It's going to happen. Most people with 5.5 or above are going to make a draw because 6 gets you in. 6 spots are going to be taken immediately. And then there's going to be a dogfight for the other 2 spots, which might be occupied by someone like Levon if he wins and gets 6, or if nobody wins, then the highest tiebreaker with 5.5, which is what leads to this crazy intrigue, right?
Right.
Okay, buckle in. Let's see a Berlin. Here we go. I wonder what's going to happen here.
Buckle in.
I think Hikaru might go E5. Oh my God.
Except twist ending, he's going to play the Berlin for a win. And
he's got knight F6. Hikaru's got knight F6.
He's got knight F6 castles. He took E4.
A sacrifice. He blundered. Will he blunder the bishop? He blundered the bishop.
He blundered the bishop. Oh my God. But the knight is trapped on the edge of
That's
the board.
That's an amazing idea. A novelty of the year. I've never seen this before.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm
what is happening?
How often do you see that?
Queen E4 check. The queens are dancing.
Oh my God.
This is amazing. Check.
Oh my God. The queens shuffled their weight in peace. Oh my God.
Unbelievable. And Hikaru takes off his headphones in frustration. He wanted to win that one.
Oh, man.
Wow. I'm sweaty just after watching that.
What a game. Whew. All right. Vidit and Caruana.
Okay. Now this one, I've seen a couple of draws in this type of position as well, but I think they're actually playing.
Yeah.
Although a draw suits them both. I don't really get it. I think Vidit might just offer a draw here.
Yeah, you think, 6 pretty much guarantees.
Especially with their tie breaks.
Yeah.
And a draw by agreement. Yep, there we go.
Yep. Okay. So the field is getting set. We're getting closer and closer to knowing who will be playing tomorrow. Hikaru wins the event with 7 out of 9. No one can catch him. Or sorry, takes the top honors in the Swiss portion. Has not won the event yet. We've got 3 players that follow with 6.
So 4 spots are taken. Hikaru, Caruana, Hikaru
and Nakamura take first and second.
Right. Followed by Hikaru, Alexander Grishuk in 3rd, Vidit in 4th. And we just had another. No, we didn't. Wait, who just? Jospim. A wild Jospim appears, taking 3rd place. So 5 spots are taken. 5 spots are taken, and we have Geary and Andraken in a game where Andraken is happy with the draw, but Anish is not. This one is going to be fought to the last
This is going
drop.
to be the fun one. This is going to be the fun one. We also, it's a Chichilian Cheveningen structure. The G pawn has advanced. We have liftoff.
What did you say?
The Chichilian. The Chichilian, the Cheveningen.
I might borrow that. Scheveningen.
Plus, it gives me a chance to use my, what is it? Wait, don't I have a G4 emote. Booyah. To the channel that I never stream from.
Nice.
Hey, everybody, go subscribe to twitch.tv/Daniel Rensch. I might stream once a year.
Okay, so it is a Sicilian. It's a kind of classic Sicilian position where both sides attacking on their respective flanks. White is not castled yet. That's an interesting wrinkle.
Yeah. No, and a lot of times the flexibility of the F pawn is also interesting in these structures, because in a traditional like English attack, the pawn on F3, H4, and G5 are the fast ways, but White could still play for F4 and have not lost the tempo, although probably you don't anymore. You probably just protect E4 now.
Yeah, so you can go F3. You can go
H4.
H4, G5. Black also has E5 that you could throw in at some point. Rook C8, Rook takes C3. This position is so rich with
You've also got E5
ideas.
and D5. E5 and D5 is a possible follow-up.
Yep.
Geary is taking a think here. I mean, I like White's chances in this position. I think there's just a big decision to make. If you want to play F3, kind of slow jam it, Jamie Foxx style, H4, G5, right? Throw in some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Totally.
slow jams.
No, I know Marvin Gaye. Ain't no mountain high enough.
It wasn't exactly the song I was referring to, but okay.
Well, that's I think the only one that I know.
Okay, but look, he doesn't slow jam it. He goes for F4. That's
okay.
My initial, the initial kind of assessment I was making is it always is interesting what you choose to do. I don't know that I like the call. I kind of felt like transposing into a traditional English attack structure was the right approach. But
yeah, now this raises the probability of some sort of exchange sacrifice. So black might want to go rook c. The problem is if you go rook c8, you might walk into g5 and you might not have time for a sack because g7 hangs in the end.
Yeah, it's crazy because the unique part of the queen being on d4 changes the whole evaluation of a normal English attack type idea. White has the kingside pawn storm. Black is looking for these exchange sacks as well as his own minority attack. But the queen on d4, now here comes e5 though.
But I saw a funny line, queen a7. Oh, that's a nasty move.
Love that.
Wow. And that wins the piece because you can't defend both. So what is it that black has here? Why is black not losing? Oh, apparently rook takes h2, sacking a piece.
And you just casually. You just sacrifice it? What?
And then you have this idea of bishop c3. This is actually very important. Queen h4.
Yeah, e4 hangs at the end with queen e4, or bishop takes, but
HCP.
Wow.
Highly chaotic position. I'm just mad at that. He's gone
sounds
g5.
Like an unnecessary abbreviation there.
That's exactly what it is.
Kind of like BRB. I mean, it's the same amount of syllables to just say "be right back," but whatever.
Yeah, it's a UA, an unnecessary abbreviation.
All right, so g5 was played as a counter shot to prevent white from doing the same. The h2 pawn falls. I think white will just castle long here, and we got craziness, and this is. I'll be honest though. I mean, I really feel like this is not the right approach for white. I think just playing f3 was a safer edge, and slow playing the more traditional h4 g5. But okay,
Yeah, but on the other hand, I'm worried about the long-term safety of black's king. I'm worried that white's going to castle and then go rook h1. Yeah. And eventually, the moment a rook lands on h8 or the king has to run to d7, that's when, the party ends for black. So I don't know.
But after the party, there's the after party. And after that party, there's the hotel lobby.
I don't know if there's going to be any of that for a king that's on d7. It's not invited. So castles here, I think. I don't know what Yuri is thinking. Oh, castles, there's knight takes e4. Ooh.
Come on. Come on.
I'm going to let the 2700s in the room calculate this.
I don't know if you know. I didn't. You got the wrong partner for that, buddy.
Oh
my gosh.
That's not what I was told. And then if you take d8, you lose the bishop and then the queen and then the other bishop. I mean, how do you evaluate this position? How on earth do you evaluate this? I think black is fine here. Rook c8 is coming.
Yeah, I don't think black has to castle anymore.
But here's the wrinkle. White can play knight takes d4.
You allow take with check and then king b1 because d6 is falling.
Yeah, so you might say, oh, black wins a piece, but no, knight takes... And this isn't the problem. b7 isn't the problem. We're getting mated with queen h8.
Yep.
He has gone queen back to d3 and a draw. By agreement, he offered a draw. And that meme comes to mind.
The Geary draw?
No, the one, it's my favorite one. The one with queen and king versus king.
Oh, yeah.
And Hikaru's like queen g8 mate. Levon's like queen h3
Fabiano's like queen g7 and Geary's like queen g6 stalemate.
With a gleeful smile.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, why go for the draw there? I think he misplayed it with f4 just from a practical point of view because white had an edge that he could squeeze with f3 to me. So unless he had something specifically prepared behind the f4 advance there, I don't think that's the right principled approach.
He does have good tie breaks. His tie breaks, Wesley also drew, and Geary's tie breaks are 0.25 better than Wesley's. Wait, do the tie breaks depend also on how the other games finish? So could they change?
They could still change based on the performance of the opponent.
So it's a complete toss-up between Wesley and Geary, who are currently in 7th and 8th place. Now, whether they remain there will be determined by Paravian's game. If Paravian wins, he displaces one of them. He'll have 6 out of 9. He's the last one who could have 6 out of 9.
And Paravian is the person we're commentating on right now. That's Dropstone GP. So a good spot to be. Also, if Levon wins,
his tiebreaks are amazing.
Yeah, his tiebreaks are better than all of them. So he would also bump Wesley if he can win this position as black, which, by the way, he's much better.
He's not risking here. Now, a draw would be terrible, I guess, for both of them, because Paravian's tiebreaks are nothing special. No, but why is white suffering here? Because this rook is super well defended by the pawns, which are super well defended by the bishops. And the pawn on g3 is just a long-term weakness that you're going to struggle to defend. Also, look at the clock. Jeez.
If Levon wins this game and goes to Sunday again, you know, we talked about Fabiano and Hikaru at the top of the show, Danya, but I feel like Levon has just, you know, he was a little bit late. He missed the first few events and then started playing. And, you know, as far as the overall Grand Prix standings, he's just absolutely playing phenomenal chess every weekend. And I expect him to qualify for the finals.
I think it's very important not to forget that, like, second place gets 7 points. So last week, he lost to Hikaru, but he gets 7 Grand Prix points. And just finishing in the top, like, 4 is basically going to get you there if you're consistent.
Yeah.
Okay, so Paravian has 2 minutes. Daniel, like, he's down 5 minutes in a 10-minute game. Just chew on that for a second.
He's down 5 minutes in a 10-minute game. I was speechless, and I love it. That doesn't happen that often.
It's a trippy thought. Lol.
Lol. And G3 falls, like, what the heck, right? He's up a pawn. He's got the bishop here. Although this is a nice idea.
This was the idea.
Yeah.
That finally displaces the rook.
I love this idea of bishop f5, just because if the trade, you could take back the knight. You force rook b4 because of the threat of rook takes b3. The pawn on c2 is pinned. Or
rook e3.
Okay, or rook e3. Duh. Sorry.
Yeah, you force one of 2 winning moves.
You passed.
Good. Now, less than 2 minutes now for Paravian. He's just not going to. I don't see him pulling this one out at all. Not with the clock situation being what it is.
Yeah, but the d5 square for the knight is going to be super irritating because the only way to get rid of it would be to go to an ops code bishop ending, right? Trade the bishop for the knight. So I'm not closing the book yet. I know this is tough, but if he gets the knight to d5, like
he's making steps. He's making steps. I was going to say
he's also making steps.
I was going to say making leaps and
they
taking
say the
steps.
Love you make should be equal to the love you take.
Right. And the steps you take should be equal to the steps you make. 10,000.
Yep.
I don't know where that came from. Okay, now bishop b6. This is really interesting because if you trade and then go rook g6, wait, what is white going to do there?
I think
or like
you have
rook
to play
f7.
Knight c7. Knight c7 threatens rook a8 and knight d5.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if there's a rook on f7, then it's defending the bishop. Okay, I think he's going to do that. I think he's taking and going to rook f. Oops, no, he's not doing that.
There you go.
That would be. Okay, by the way, no, we don't have any other critical.
No other standings shakeups here.
Okay,
but you called it already. Wesley So's tiebreaks are the ones that leave the most to be desired. So if I had to just predict right now, I believe that Levon will win this game and bump Wesley, and you know and Anish will drop to 8th place overall. Levon will be in 7th with tiebreaks.
Has Anish been in the RCC top 8 since the first week? Because the first week he lost to Nepo. I remember that.
Yeah, he lost to Nepo in the final, right? The final.
Yeah. So, but I don't think he's qualified since then.
Yeah, he didn't play a couple. He was on the Grand Prix train.
Yeah, he's not in the top 20 in the Grand Prix standings, and which just shows you that it's all about consistency, not about like making it once. Okay, the wheels are coming off here for David.
Yeah, Levon is flexing here. You can even just play rook f1, hold on to the pawn.
Yeah, he's taking some time off of Levon's clock, but it's still a 3-minute difference.
The thing is, you're not even threatening bishop f5. That's why.
Opening my mouth to say that, yeah, because of rook f1.
Dude, you can open your mouth and say the things I'm going to say anytime.
Is that so?
Oh man.
No, duly noted. Oh, there's another crunch.
Here comes A4 and Bishop B3, Chekalina La Shlamba.
Jesus.
Do it. Just play A4.
No, but knight b5, knight d6, and the bishop's now defending that square. But
Oh,
he,
and
I
there's
guess
also-
it's bishop b1.
And then Rook B3. Yeah, and force the king out.
No. I mean a4 and then bishop, potentially threatening bishop b1.
But if A4, Rook A8, King B6, Knight D5, if you go to the C file, there's Rook C8 winning the bishop. So that's actually a problem.
I'm still wrapping my head around your word for check. Can you reproduce that, or is it like those? I knew
No,
when it
it's
forces you, the
checkmate.
password
You
must. It reminds me of. Yeah, go ahead.
You only invoke a Chekalina La Shlamba if you're singing La Bamba with, Richie Valens, which is, we're all dancing because we did checkmate. So the
Very
math checks
smooth.
out of how that word developed.
Bishop f5. He's going for king d5, bishop b1, and then a fork. I was gonna say what it reminds me of is when this forces you to create passwords nowadays and create a password. You didn't include a symbol. You didn't include 2 characters. No, the password is not between 8 and 13 characters. And at some point, you just type some random stuff in, you would never remember it again.
The key to my passwords that are super complex and no one guesses, I just do random chess openings.
Right.
Like you do like the number 1, and then you do C5, and then you do like the number 2, and then you do G6, and then you just end with like an exclam because it's a brilliant move, and like no one gets
right.
it.
D4, knight H6, double X. Whoa!
Oh, he
Levon
saved it.
should not have allowed this endgame. Now, wait a minute.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Parabia doesn't have a minute. That might be the problem. D5 is coming. I still think
D5 and D4, and it's over.
Yeah.
You can't stop.
Oh, he's trying to stalemate himself. Look at this idea. Renegade Rook.
Oh, dude,
Oh.
I love it. That's
What
nasty.
a devil at like D4, Rook E5, and it's a draw.
You have to let the king out.
my
You can't play D4.
lands. B6 check by Levon.
Okay.
He's alert. Look at that move.
Oh, don't you hate it when chess players are alert?
I know, it's the worst. Wait, but it's not totally over. Rook E8 check. Can you try to like get a situation where you're forcing D2 and then you're taking it and then taking B6? That's what he's trying to think of, but I don't think he can do that. The king is too close to the pawn. King E3.
Okay.
No, he's gone
wait.
D2, but yeah, the king is too close.
Yeah, but he's going to consider it.
Okay, that is not going to help. No, it's over. He's going to king F2. King hides behind the pawn, and then you go Rook B4. Yeah, okay. Rook C2, Rook C4. Looks like the cleanest. Rook C4. Boom. And Lavon
Very
Aronian,
nice.
we're about to find out.
Yep, punches his ticket. The standings will be updated here, and Levon
Yes.
takes 7th. Oh wait, Jeffrey Zhang sneaks in.
Oh, he's got
Whoa,
5.5. He's got. I forgot about him.
I
Wait, he
forgot about
won.
Zhang.
Wait, did he win? I don't think he had 5 though, or did he? Wait,
Wait, we
Oh, it's
missed
Jeffrey
it's Jeffrey
X.
X. Jeffrey X.
Yeah, he beat Pete Noterbeck, by the way, just crushed him in an endgame. Look at this. This is like thug life.
Honestly,
Boom,
maybe
boom,
that's
boom,
maybe that's
boom,
the game
boom.
we'll choose for our Coinbase Rapid Recap. Because, okay, we didn't even realize that it wasn't only Levon playing for a chance to dance on
So-
Sunday. It was Jeffrey Zhang. So
Wait a second. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, unfortunately for Anish, the meme lives. He settled on a draw, and because of it, he's gonna be on the outside looking in tomorrow. Go ahead. What were you?
Oh
gonna
yeah,
say?
he's in 9th. I just blanked completely. He's in 9th. He doesn't make it. And
That's what I'm
neither
saying,
does
yeah,
Wesley. Oh my God, neither does Serrana or Indian Lad, who all have 5.5. That's always what happens. Oh my God,
Wow.
taking that draw was a terrible decision.
Taking the draw was a terrible decision. Not playing the position, I think, with a little more flexible options. All right.
No, but even if he castled there, Anish was just much better. I thought he had a huge attack, and Draken was like, "Thank you." He just
No,
thank
he
you for
offered a
handing me
draw,
my
and
ticket.
Draken couldn't hit the accept button fast enough.
Right. That's like when I got offered a draw for my 3rd GM norm. I am not shaking anyone's hand faster than it's like, my hand was there before he even offered it.
You practically knock over all the pieces on the way.
Right.
Have you ever been on the other side of torturing someone else trying to get a norm?
By the way, guess who's still playing? I have. I have like I've never given anybody like a draw. Oh, he missed it.
Oh,
It's check. It's check. It's check.
Oh
forgot.
my gosh, you didn't see it was check.
Oh, Krikor.
Bro.
Dude.
Bishop takes f7 was a strong idea, everybody, but only if queen takes f7 wasn't with check.
That's such a common reason for knight e3. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No, there was one time where somebody had to beat me for a GM norm and he was like +8.
Yeah.
And I managed to pull out a draw. And part of me felt vengefully amazing that I just denied someone that opportunity. But I tried to put myself in his shoes and I was like, that is not a good feel. Because I'd been in that spot before.
I had 3 years back to back and playing at the Spice Cup in Lubbock, Texas, when Susan Polgar's program was there, where I was playing. I gave Feingold. That's right, Ben. I gave Ben the draw to help him get his last GM norm. You're welcome, Ben. Okay. And then I denied Ray Robson, who was Ray Robson ended up breaking records with it, but little Ray Robson, Ray Shea. Oh wait, did we draw that game? I don't even remember.
Okay, so Giri fell to 11th place on tiebreaks.
Yeah, not ideal.
The cosmic universe just punished him for taking that draw. Alexei Sarana is in 9th. I mean, he probably wasn't even really hoping to get in. Wow. Zhang was. I mean, frankly, if we're just being real, Zhang was the most deserving because if we roll back who he played, I mean, I feel like didn't he play everybody else in the top 8 like along the way? If we look at and recall his pairings, he played Hikaru. I remember that he played Hikaru. He almost drew.
He played Levon.
He played Levon. He played Jaspem. He played Mishanik. That's Serrano.
He played Fabiano. Oh wait, no, that was Blitz right before the event started.
And he destroyed him like 8 times. So, wow.
Okay. Well,
an impressive finale.
That's the list as you see it. We will be taking a short break because when we come back, we will be diving into our Coinbase Rapid Recap where we're going to pick a game and give it some extra analysis, love, provide some instructive takeaways. So maybe hang out with us in chat if you got some suggestions of a game you'd like to see broken down. I kind of feel like I want to see what happened and how Zhang ultimately punched his ticket to Sunday. But if you've got other ideas, let me and Danya know. I'll take a peek at both YouTube and Twitch. If you're watching on a different platform, I'll also look at Chess TV. But anywhere else, shame on you. Anyway, we'll be right back. This is going to be a real-time breakdown of Danny Rensch's games all time on chess.com.
That's cool. Oh! In the last month, I am playing 83.12.
I'm less accurate than them in every stage.
Yeah.
Man, that stings a little
You
bit.
should
Okay.
do the more game review.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, so
Tuesday sucks. I gotta stop playing chess on Tuesday. Oh, it's because it's Title Tuesday.
Look how many blunders there were back in December 2020. And now December 2021, 1,600. Don't look at this number. look at this number. Best.
Let's go to tactics. Mates. I'll probably need to work on these ones. Yep.
Every single rook fork that has presented itself to me, I have found. No one has a higher percentage of rook forks than I do. Yes, correct.
These are literally the knight forks that you missed.
I missed knight d6?
You saw it just now.
What the is wrong with me?
I could have done here and then taken this pawn, and I'm winning because my pawns get held together. That's probably the coolest part about this feature.
Like these positions against Hess? Rook there for rook e2! And he blunders mid and one! Oh my goodness! I'm awful!
We're back with another RCC in the books. Another event, I guess, another day. We're talking about a who's list of super GMs going to be playing on Sunday. You've got Hikaru, you got Fabi, you got Levon. But right now we need to talk about a young guy who joined you for commentary, rocked the house, and then rocked our world in the last round here, Danya, with this victory over Naroditsky.
Well, I'm a little ashamed to say, but we kind of forgot about him, and that's why we're dedicating the Coinbase Rapid Recap to him.
Yeah.
We forgot that he had 4.5 points, and he's playing Naroditsky, who, by the way, is the World Rapid Champion.
Yep. in case you missed the memo on that, yeah, Naroditsky, World Rapid Champion.
So Jeffrey with the white pieces starts off pretty peacefully with a Rogozin variation. Jeffrey goes for this Queen A4 check. I don't know much about this, Danny, but this is a good line to play for a win.
The Queen A4 check line or the Rogozin itself for black?
The Queen A4 check line. The Rogozin is a very sort of solid line for a draw. So Jeffrey kind of unbalances it with Queen A4. And then things get sharp, and they get sharp. Where do they get sharp? They get sharp a little bit later. Bishop G5, Bishop E7. Looks almost like a Queen's Gambit decline with this misplaced knight on C6.
Yeah, and that's a big part of why Queen A4 is played, because even if the temporary things you have to deal with, eventually the queen will relocate herself. We'll go back to that position. The main thing is that you forever create a little bit of dysfunctional stuff for black on the queen side with that knight being in front of black's C pawn. So,
yeah, you want to be able to play C5 or C6. So Naroditsky tries to change the tenor of the position. He goes knight E4. There's a trade on E7. Jeffrey drops the queen back, trade on C3. And after B6, Jeffrey makes a really interesting decision to go C5 and then rook C1. He goes full steam ahead down the C file.
Yeah, it's a little strange, actually, to relieve the tension that you normally have in a position with the queen's pawn hitting C4. But in this position, especially with the knight on E7, kind of makes sense. Is this an idea that has become thematic here for? Is this something you've seen before?
No, not often. You know, in the Queen's Gambit Decline, you don't often see like c4, c5. But in this particular instance, there's a tactical detail that this all relies on, which is that after c6, right? So Noterbeck puts his pawn here so that the knight protects it. After knight e5, you would want to play bishop b7 and defend the pawn, but then you walk into a fork, knight d7.
Fork down.
So he finds a way he goes rook c2 and f6, very ingenious, because now if knight takes c6, after the mass trade, black takes on b2, but Jeffrey switches gears and heads for this juicy outpost on c5.
Positional chess at its best, right? There you go. Yeah, I like this idea of c5. And again, it's not something you see every day, but it turns out it was exactly the right way to take advantage of black's weaknesses. Now, how do you deal with the fork on d7 and the e6 pawn falling?
It's a second order fork. You're forking a fork, and you're also forking a pawn.
A fork is a fork, of course. It's a fork.
A fork is a fork is a fork.
Holy fork balls.
He did it, vid it. So after knight takes c6, Noterbeck has no choice but to give up the pawn. But the game is not over. Jeffrey still has his king in the center. He cannot castle, legally cannot castle to either the king side or the queen side. So what does he do? He takes matters into his own hands, king d2.
I love it. Is he going to sack the exchange on c4? If knight c4 check had been played, I wonder whether he would have sacked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In a heartbeat, I think.
Okay. All right. So now it looks like the king castled queen side a long time ago. All is well.
Boom, boom. He goes after the next pawn. Now there's no b7 pawn, so now this pawn cannot be defended. Noterbeck's position starts to crumble. I like how Noterbeck tries to create counterplay, but queen a6.
Yeah, normally if we're talking about, I'll back up a few minutes just to highlight, normally in a QGD, white has to pay a price to get these types of weaknesses. Normally you've had to expand your pawns and launch a minority attack. In this particular position, right, white is completely solid, and you have all the weaknesses that you could have ever wanted on the white side of a very solid QGD structure. So I agree with you, Noterbeck. I'll let you take control again. Noterbeck does go for the aggressive counterplay, but really nicely played by Jeffrey.
It's coolly rebuffed. Fe, and the queen defends the rook. So he tries knight c4, and now he disarms the knight with knight e5. He gives up one of his pawns, but doesn't even give up one of his pawns, because if Noterbeck takes this pawn, there's like a check on state. a4 is hanging. This is just over. And black's position crumbles. He takes another pawn. And yes, Noterbeck picks up both of the e-pawns, but at the end of the day, Jeffrey has connected passers, and Danny, all he has to do is trade pieces, and trade pieces he does. He picks up the D pawn for the H pawn. He tucks his king away, and then once he doubles on the F file, it's over, because you cannot stop the rook from coming into F8.
Yeah, the B and A pawns are just it's not a matter of if but when, right? And so black's life is very difficult.
So he offers the queen trade, decline, but he trades the rooks. Then he gives a bunch of other checks. And now look at this. Queen c2 check. King h8 gets mated. King g8. You force the queen trade this way.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, so Noterbeck went queen g6. And it's over. Boom.
Yeah,
boom.
There's no way to avoid the queen trade there, even if you play king g8, like you said, queen b3.
Just pushes his pawns. He's like, no. You're not going anywhere. No, that is not how you cut off a king. That is how you cut off a king.
By the way, that is not how the rook moves, but I like what you did there.
That would be pretty awesome if you could cut off the d-file from e2. And he gets his king to a5, b6, b7, and Noterbeck resigned.
All right, well, you got to give Jeffrey the credit that he deserves that we didn't give him in real time. Shout out to Mr. Zhang. Shout out to our sponsors. That is your Coinbase Rapid Recap, and it's the only game that we didn't cover that really mattered in that last round. What's going to matter tomorrow is you take a look at those matchups, Danya. Let's break them down. I mean, every one of them has me licking my lips, chomping at the bit. Gonna be spicy, the right kind of spicy. You know, like when you go in and they're like, "What do you want?" Like you got up to 5. You want like American spicy 4, or
Thai
you want
spicy.
like real spicy? That tomorrow's like real spicy.
It really is, and from the right off the bat, and that's the great thing about the RCC Sunday Knockout. You don't have those like gimme matchups in the first round. You got Hikaru facing Jeffrey, and Hikaru has not had an easy path in the Sunday Knockout. He lost to Noterbeck a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
So he is rearing to go to prove to the youngsters that, Hikaru can still prove his will. So that's a great matchup. We got Levon against Dimitri over on the top right, Caruana Jose on the bottom right. I mean, all 4 matchups are fascinating, and I cannot wait for tomorrow. So I really can't.
Right? He punches his ticket. Grishik, dark horse, watch out, because how much better is Sasha with increment? A lot better, right?
He's
the way
dangerous.
he approaches things, as everyone knows, he's going to get under a little bit of time pressure, but he's got so much more of what do I want to call it, an insurance policy, right? When he's got that increment waiting for him. So watch out for Grishik to maybe make some noise there on the left side of the bracket. Even if Hikaru does get by Zhang, Sasha might be a really tough challenge in the next round, assuming, of course, okay, it's hard when you say that because then it sounds like I'm looking over Vidit. I'm not looking over Vidit because he did it. He vid it.
He did it. He vid it. And he might do it tomorrow. He's another dark horse. Don't sleep on Vidit. It's his first knockout, and he will want to make it count, especially considering the Grand Prix leaderboard as we take a look. Obviously, this we can't see the future, so this doesn't include tomorrow's GP points, but Vidit needs to get up there, and he needs a good, solid performance in tomorrow's knockout because we're reaching pretty close to the halfway point of the RCC, Danny.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of prize money already been won, but let's not forget they're qualifying for the finals, which would be $150,000 for the 16 players that are dancing when it all ends in August. Like we said, I won't announce the official date change right now because my team would be mad at me, but we're working on a slight adjustment to the finals event. But it's going to be awesome. Lots of money up for grabs, including a $30,000 first place for 4 days of chess. Not bad, right? Here, online chess is here, I guess. That's cool, right? For the win. Danya, was that milk?
No, that's Spindrift. It's like lemon sparkling water. Okay. Do you know what Spindrift is? It's my favorite. It's like a game changer in the sparkling water. It's like LaCroix, but 800 times better. I know Coinbase.
You have some of that upstairs. They have like a raspberry flavor too, right?
I don't think. If they had a raspberry flavor, they'd be out of inventory because raspberry flavored anything, I'm getting all of it. When
the broadcast ends and you and I are just hanging out for a quick little debrief, I'm going to run upstairs and see if I'm right about that because I could go for some of that. Anyway, man, hey, you look great in the shirt. What should we wear tomorrow?
Maybe something matching for a change.
Maybe something. Okay, we'll sync heads on that. Anyway, we'll give a shout out to everybody. If you're doing something special for the holiday weekend in the U.S. Or anywhere you celebrate the Easter Sunday, enjoy. But Danya and I will be here in the saddle, commentating on an epic 8-player knockout for the Rapid Chess Championship. Without any further ado, what should we do? We'll give a quick shout out to Coinbase. Thank you so much again to our sponsors and an amazing partner that they are. Go to coinbase.com/chess to get your Bitcoin, baby. All right, Danya, enjoy your night. We're going to bounce.
Thank you, Danny. We will.
See you tomorrow, everybody.